And we're live.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the.
Maybe we should count up instead of down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Forget it. Anyway, welcome to the Arcade Hangout. America's favorite and longest running. Oh, I hear another show going on.
Yes.
Tell that guy to shut up.
Muted, yeah.
Well, that's me. All right.
Longest running live arcade podcast on YouTube.
In the world. And
the number one most Google searched podcast for arcades. No?
And more females than the other guy.
Yeah.
We've got a good showing so far tonight.
I didn't say they were the most popular. No.
Most unsubscribed.
Most unsubscribed. And we have disclaimers of there might be vaping, burping, farting, peeing, leaking, and other such. What other things? Did I cover most of the stuff?
Yeah, eating, did you get that one?
Drinking, burping, farting, peeping,
poop jokes.
Yeah. Poop jokes, pee jokes, banana jokes. Yeah. Poop boners might happen at any moment.
And then I chime in.
So,
hey guys.
So that's your pre-warning.
This weekend we're going to record that. So
awesome.
So we'll have that all ready to go. Hopefully for next show. The disclaimer.
Nice.
Oh, you're going to record a disclaimer? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
and then speed it up and
oh, that's cool.
Really text. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You can have a little music with it, like.
Can Skeleton Dick record an instrumental bit?
Oh man,
they might have one.
Yeah.
Something leave it to Beaver.
Right.
Yeah, something.
Maybe you changed your hair.
I just trimmed down the sides.
It's like Kid and Play.
The summer cut.
I like Mock's slogan. The most unsubscribed podcast in America.
I think Gak said that.
Actually, Andrew said that. I think.
Laughing out loud.
That was my joke.
Yeah. I was in the kitchen and made me laugh.
The only podcast that is more people in the IRC than watching our show.
The number one podcast with the most disinterested people in the IRC.
They don't even know there's a show going on.
The most disconnected IRC channel.
Don't know, don't care.
Necros just said poop to the head.
Yeah, you can play poop to the head music while the disclaimer goes. Anyway, what else do we say? I'm one of your hosts, Mock the Magic Man. We a group of friends that get together once a week and talk about stuff and things and arcade games and pinball and a little bit of arcade news sometimes. And what else? Talk movies and pop culture.
Spoilers
and other fun stuff like that. And
we really make use of the Hangout. It's not it's the arcade. It's the arcade space Hangout. So maybe like 70%, 80% Hangout.
And most of us are actually in quote unquote arcades too. So it is the arcade theme there.
We were gonna shoot for the teen center, but
we kept getting kicked out.
Yeah,
I mean, all of us
kept being reported and flagged.
All of us have an arcade game or two
behind you guys, except me. What the fuck? Well, I got a Mega Touch thing, so does that count?
Yeah,
that counts.
Cool. All the rest of my shit's downstairs.
It's a stretch. No, I'm just kidding.
I can see your separator is still part of your trash pile.
Yeah.
Supposed to be hiding that shit.
Yes.
Don't make it part of that shit.
No, that's good. That's for when I have work meetings.
I think you got to hang Elvira right there on that wall right there. It's a big empty space.
Yeah, you should do it live.
No, what I'm doing is I'm going to hang photos.
Are you wearing a belt?
like like Amelia Estevez playing.
That's Bishop of Battle.
Bishop of Battle, yeah.
Bishop of Battle. So
Oh, nice.
10 pictures I'm going to hang up behind there.
For those in the IRC that don't know what Bishop of Battle is
They
an old anthology movie. It's sort of like Twilight Zone. And one of the sequences was called the movie is called Nightmares, and the sequence that's from is Bishop of Battle, which is a kid. Emilio Estevez is addicted to video games, and he lashes out at everyone and says, "I'm going to get the high score." Blah. And he plays it so obsessively that the arcade becomes sentient. Sentient? Is that the word?
Sentient.
Sentient. That's the word. Something like that. Comes alive. And a giant head comes out of it. The machine explodes. His joystick's an actual pistol, which he pulls off the machine. And for some reason now it can shoot real lasers. And he shoots early CGI, I would say, I guess.
Yeah.
Monsters fly around. And he shoots at them. And he wins, actually. And then the Bishop of Battle head goes, "Oh, now you can join us." And then now he's in the game.
It's kind of supposed to be like Last Starfighter.
Yeah. Did you say it's kind of vectorish too? Like
it has sort of. No, I didn't say that, but yeah, it's sort of like vector-looking graphics, but they're sort of 3D-ish though.
Did anybody ever try to like? Yeah. Did anybody ever try to remake or make their own version of that game, like as if it was a game you could play?
When you watch it, you're like, "What the hell game is this? Like, what do you do?" Like,
because didn't someone
involved?
Someone kind of created a Last Starfighter playable game, right?
Yeah, no, that's for real. Yeah.
I wonder if they ever tried to do Bishop of Battle.
What movie did this come from? I got this thing. I can't figure out the movie.
Oh, that's from a TV show called Square Pegs.
Really?
Yeah. And Sarah Jessica Parker, that was her first role.
Johnny Slash, it says on the back of the phone.
They should have made a video game based on Maximum Overdrive.
Oh,
good call, Mock. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a 80s TV show. It was okay. Okay,
I missed that in my youth. Yeah. So yeah, these are like all the pictures. This is from Matt. What is his name? Matt Broderick from War Games. Yeah. So basically, anything with like computers in it or arcade games, I'm hanging out. This is just arcade related bullshit. Nothing fancy or crazy.
How about Different Strokes, where Arnold plays the video game to beat his brother? And it was like a fake video game. Do you guys remember that?
I need the one that. Baby. What was the one with the rich kid? Saved by the Bell. Geek, or what's his name? Geech?
Screech.
Geech. Yeah,
No, that's a Clav user. Geech.
Geech.
Yes.
Yeah. So Screech is in front of a Mr. Do, I think, in a photo. But
Dustin Diamond.
Dustin Diamond.
Oh yeah.
The porn star.
Mr. Sanchez himself.
Oh God.
He boxed Horseshack.
Dirty Sanchez. There was a couple arcade games in the background on that show at that diner place they would go to.
Yeah.
If I remember right, the
marquees.
The marquees were different, but you could tell in the games.
The one that tripped me out, Jimbo, you showed a screen grab. Which Bill and Ted's was it?
Oh, Excellent Adventure. Yeah, it had a Zeke's Peak. I'm like,
of all the games, like that's super rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's all by itself. Like there's no other like arcade games really.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? At first I thought it was ice cold beer, and I'm like, oh, whoa. Someone probably owns that one.
Yeah.
I got the Ziggy Piggy. Zeke's Peak.
Yeah.
Ziggy Piggy.
Necro said Silver Spoons. Yeah, that had a lot of video games in the background. But those had the marquees. Had a Dragon Slayer and like 3 other games or something. Yeah, I might have had a Tempest. Maybe a Scramble. I can't remember. But sometimes they would change once in a while too.
Damn, the cheapest you can get a Dustin Diamond photo with Mr. Do is $60. Fuck that.
What?
That's insane. On eBay.
A photo of him with it?
Yeah.
Someone just screen grabbed it off the show.
Oh,
printed it.
Fine.
Yeah, it's just it's like a random picture of him in character as Screech going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here. I don't know if I could. No, I can't slide it into chat. Bummer. Oh, yeah, there it is.
It's funny, he turned out to be the biggest douchebag of the whole group.
Well, and he was in a lot of stuff, not just Saved by the Bell. He was in several episodes of Wonder Years and a bunch of other shit going on.
My favorite show was that Geeks and Freaks one. That was a good one.
Oh, Freaks and Geeks?
Freaks and Geeks, yeah.
That was a good show.
That should have never ended.
I was in love with what's her name on that show?
Me too.
Who's the girl with the green jacket? What was her name on that show? You got, Andrew.
Latino?
No. She's a brunette girl. She was Velma in the Scooby-Doo movies.
I never saw those.
Oh, she's in the Avenger movies too as Nighthawk or
Linda
Cardellini. That's it. Linda Cardellini.
Oh yeah.
Grandma's Boy. Too.
So
That's
old
right.
now.
Oh yeah, she's in Grandma's Boy. That's right. She has the blonde hair in that movie, or brown hair or something.
Also in
More
Brokeback
blonde.
Mountain.
Is she in that?
All I remember is dudes.
All I remember is dudes wrestling. Let's wrestle. Fuck fishing.
Let's wrestle.
Wrestle. I can't quit you.
Oh, shit.
Fuck fishing.
Let's wrestle until I accidentally stick my dick in your butt.
Fishing's for straights.
Bitches leave.
That'd be a good movie to cut in the RoboCop Bitches Leave.
Bitches leave.
Bitches leave. God, I love that line.
Oh man.
Yeah, Linda Cardellini. So there's like on Scooby-Doo, she has this big bikini scene that's in the deleted scenes. I'm like, why isn't this in the movie? But she's a real heavy smoker, and it's taken a toll on her skin, unfortunately. She's
only 43 years old.
Yeah, women who smoke like heavily, it's just like an age time machine,
You can always tell around the lips.
Yeah, they get the shriveled lips,
yeah.
like that girl from the Underworld movies, like what's her name? The Underworld movies. Oh man, you guys.
I just keep thinking of the Seinfeld episode where Kramer is smoking cigars in his apartment.
Yeah, it's like that. Like, don't look at me, Jerry. I'm hideous.
God, your face looks like a catcher's mitt.
Oh,
yeah.
And he goes, it's pipe night.
Yeah. Don't look at me, Jerry. I'm hideous.
There's so many outtakes from that too where Jerry can't stop laughing.
Because he's all tan. No, Kate Beckinsale. That's who that is. So she's another heavy smoker. If you see her lately, her lips are shriveled right here.
There's that word again, heavy. Now, is she like heavy smoker?
Heavy smoker.
As in like she smokes a lot, or is she fat and she's a smoker?
No, she's thin and beautiful.
How do you know her smoking habits, Mark?
She told me.
Like, she's a heavy smoker. I'm like, you hanging around?
She tweeted me like the other day. I'm smoking one right now.
She was in the green
California are in your mouth.
Mark, I'm smoking again.
No, you can just. Well, I've seen her smoking in a lot of like off-camera stuff, and if you look at her lips, they're totally shriveled right here where someone smokes a lot. So,
boy. Hey, Carrie, she's on.
Hey there.
Hey, Carrie's here. See, 100% more women than the other shows. See,
winning.
So, are we going to have a guest tonight or not? Is that are we waiting?
The email has been sent, so it was sent out at the same time you guys got yours.
So supposedly we're going to have a guest.
The other one.
The beta's been laid.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Technical issues, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. So I guess we won't announce the guest unless they come on then. Otherwise, it's just false promises. Maybe.
We have at least 6 or 7 guests every week.
So does anybody have any arcade stuff? Any gets?
By the way, we have a special guest who's going to be coming on any moment here. He thought it was not going to start for another 45 minutes. I guess I told him 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Oh.
But I guess he got his conversions off or something by now. He's like, it's not for another 45 minutes, right?
No.
Like, nope, we started 15 minutes ago.
Where are you?
Math. You have to do math?
Yeah.
There's no math on it.
So we
talked math, I'm out.
We talked it about a few times off and on the last month probably, but Arcade Jason. So
Arcade Jason.
So quickly prepare some questions.
Yeah, I got centipede board.
Make fun of him. I think he's pretty thick-skinned, so we can heckle him.
You can sell me a Nintendo Versus board for cheap, I heard.
Probably. You never know.
Oh, hey, did you guys...
Hopefully he's drinking.
Do we have rooms?
Let's wait an hour before we proposition him.
Yeah.
Let the booze set in.
No, I think we start right now.
For the ones that can
just drill him with...
Oh, hey, speak of the devil.
Yeah,
the
hey, Jason.
Hey, what's going on, Arcade?
Yeah, what's up, arcade nerds?
There he is.
Oh, wait, that's you. Jason, how's it going? Can you hear us?
Arcade Jason's here.
May I present Frau Blucher?
I just watched the video. So what's funny, Arcade Jason's connected to one of my other YouTube channels I watch where he did a swap out with a arcade trade with a it was a Popeye for a what was the other game, Jason? A vector game.
Space Fury.
Space Fury, yeah.
Wow, talk about a trade.
Yeah, I know. I was watching that going, whoa.
Have them join the IRC.
Money that was also added to that. But yeah, it does sound like a great trade.
yeah, you had to throw some cash in on that. Yeah. Nice.
Oh, I see.
So, Jason, I'm Chris. I'm the one who messaged you. How's it going? Good to talk to you, man. You sent me I bought a Donkey Kong board off you a couple months back.
Okay.
And I was like, we should invite him on the show. So, yeah, glad you can make it.
And it's funny, I've been watching this channel, but I didn't think that we should ask him to come on. But
yeah,
I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Hit him up.
Yep. Yeah, I really enjoy your show. I gotta say, it's real. Like, you make mistakes, you fix them.
He's the John's Arcade replacement.
I don't know any better. If you do something wrong, I don't know any better because that's the ongoing joke here. I've never done a cap kit, so I don't know my head from my ass when it comes to caps. So yeah.
Now it's hi dudes. We are
dudes.
Somewhere. Yeah. Oh, fuck,
Yeah.
neighbors are smoking.
So
speaking of
Jason,
smoke,
how many games do you have now?
Well, I did have 200, but I think
Jesus
down to about 180 or so.
What?
So maybe you should start with your story rather than Q&A.
I'd like to know the origins of Arcade Jason. So have you been doing repairs forever, or like?
I've been.
Who's your mom and dad? Yeah.
What do they do?
Sorry, Jason. If you haven't heard us before, there's a whole lot of talking over each other. So try to bear with our banter that goes back and forth.
It's a hangout.
It's kind of inevitable with 9 of us.
Feel free to shout. It's all good.
Yeah,
everyone's
talk
I
over
have to make
people
them
if you
shut
have
the hell
something to
up.
Exactly.
I've been known. I'm known for that.
Let the man speak.
Let the poor man speak.
Speaking of which,
yes,
I've been messing around with arcade machines for about 15 years or so. But before that, matter of fact, the guy that got me in the hobby happens to be to my right. It's actually funny.
Punch him in the arm.
Slide him in. Let's see him. Let's see who it is.
Come on in. This is
punch him in the face.
Brian Smith, who just happened to
How's it going? What's his name?
Brian Smith.
Brian
this
Smith.
guy has like 400 machines.
Jesus. All right. So I missed it. What state are you guys in?
We're in Ohio.
Ohio. Okay. So is there like a huge warehouse scene there of games or what? Man, how do you get all these games?
Oh, I'm just, what? If something is on your mind enough, it'll find you.
Yeah, you know I suppose so. Yeah.
What part of Ohio are you guys in? What part? Northeast Ohio. I'm in Maisie, Ohio, technically. Oh, I could literally throw a rock into Pennsylvania.
Stealing all.
What's the closest airport? Major metropolitan airport.
In East Palestine, Ohio, and that's about 2 miles from the PA border.
Okay.
About 30 miles away from here.
You guys know about Level 419 Arcade?
No, never heard of it.
That's right around the corner from you guys.
Really?
Yep. Level419.com, I believe.
Over in Pennsylvania or where?
No, Ohio. Right,
it's in Ohio.
Away from him.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
You're just bursting at the seams with games. Oh, they froze up. Looks like
he's just concentrating really hard on typing this in.
Yeah.
They don't need to go to an arcade if he's got 400 games.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So much for that question.
Oh man,
that question just killed the show.
I'll message it.
Yeah,
we had some messages
Mike.
on.
Way to go, Gleek.
Yeah, stop downloading all that
porn.
Download after the show.
If you can hear us, turn it on and off again.
That's just the way it is, folks. Sometimes our guests are brief. Sometimes they freeze. And,
we'll stop presenting them.
Sometimes not for 5 minutes. Sometimes 5 hours.
Nice. That's my man.
That's my man.
Well, they're still presented.
All right. Well, we'll stop.
This is why you have to tread softly when you ask questions.
Should we?
I messaged him to try to log out and then log back in.
We got 9, so he can get back in twice.
Yeah, they just got a link.
9.
9.
9.
Isn't Brad paying for this? Because you can go to 30 now.
Good Lord.
Yep.
I don't think so. I don't think anyone's paying for it.
I pay $5 or $6 a month for my Gmail, which is
because we don't have enough people. Like we have things pretty under wraps with 10.
Right.
30 people, man. Let's have a party.
that would be like
hear each other.
That'd be like a goddamn classroom.
Welcome back.
Hey, they're back. All right, so you left it at.
Okay, so 15 years ago. Sorry, what's your buddy's name there sitting next to you again?
Brian Smith.
Brian Smith. So Brian got you hooked on games 15 years ago.
So maybe we should start with Brian's story.
I used to mess around with old computers. I used to have a huge collection. Believe it or not, at one time I had 1,000 computers in a trailer.
Gosh.
I used to live in a trailer. But anyways, so I had a bunch of electronic parts and like computer stuff. I had a garage sale, and most people didn't give a shit about anything I had. Oh, can you swear here? Anyways,
and you can drink, and you can vape, you can smoke, you can fart.
It is encouraged.
All right. Anyways,
Yeah.
Is weed legal in your state?
This is live and unfiltered.
We've seen hairy ass cracks too, but we're not going to recommend that.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that either.
And purple Donkey Kong will be.
But I had a garage sale. Yeah, I had a garage sale, and I met Brian here, and I really never even thought about owning an arcade machine, and I like to work on electronics, and I wanted to see whatever his stuff was, and he showed me this warehouse full of games, and at the time I didn't get it yet. I didn't, he's like, hey, check out this artwork and whatever. I'm like, yeah, whatever. What's the circuit board look like? That's all I cared about.
Right.
And he showed me all these things, and then as I've known Brian for all these years, I got hooked. And I remember one of the first games that I really, really, really wanted was Space Fury.
Loverboy. Sorry, Space Fury.
It was a good try. That was the next.
So Jason, I think I've heard you say in one of your videos that you have a background in electronics, right? That's like your day job?
Sure.
Doing electronics repair stuff?
Yeah, I actually work for a rich guy that likes to collect arcade machines.
Okay.
And, I just
nice.
You just make sure these are working at all times.
I've seen it. I won't say any names, but
I'll look at them ever again once they're fixed.
I won't say any names, but I've seen you talk about there's a guy in Tennessee.
Oh yeah, well there's a guy.
I've sold like 6 or 8 games to. I know it's the same guy.
Yeah.
The guy who has like a couple thousand games, right?
Oh yeah, he's somewhere around 3 to 4 pieces, 3,000 to 4,000 pieces.
Oh my gosh! The last I heard was 2,000.
Or Todd Tucky's broadcast recently.
Oh really?
What was it?
I forgot his name, but he has like 2,000 games or something.
Wow.
What's his name?
Well, the guy I work for is
Mr. Hoarder.
Yeah, we can out people on this.
So the guy you work for in Ohio, is that who you're talking about, Jason? Now?
Oh yeah, sure. The guy I work for in Ohio, his name is Rob Burke. He's the founder of Pinball Expo. He's had the longest running pinball show ever to date.
Nice. Cool. So is it mostly pinball stuff that you repair for him? Or?
He was mostly just into pinball, and to be honest, you could kind of tell he like looked down and thought, looked down like, against the videos as if they were
one of those.
And,
a lot of the old school guys like that.
But not anymore. Now he's a little. He likes some of the video stuff.
That's one of the crazy things I've seen lately. Is like people talk about like the vids are just getting to be stupid prices, but if you really think about it, back in the early '80s. I mean, a pinball costs maybe twice at the most what a video game costs. You know, so if they got a $10,000 pinball machine and people are like, you know, $8,000 to $10,000 on a pinball machine, what's, you know, $3 or $4 or $5 grand on a, you know, a highly sought after video game kind of thing, you know? Yeah. I'm not a buyer at that. Hell no, but
yeah.
But I mean, it just seems like it should be relative like how they used to be, but I don't know. It seems like it's starting to catch up recently. You know, like the ratio, the values.
I worry about it all the time. I see prices rising like crazy. I would never sell my favorite games, no matter what.
Right.
But I think, man, is someday are these going to be? Is it going to crash? Is it going to be?
That's
worth
what we keep saying.
Yeah.
When's the bubble going to burst?
Right.
I know. Don't say it. The more you say
I know.
Well, the thing is, though, it's the barcades that they're making the prices so high. I think. So I wish that would stop. You know.
Sure.
I mean, it's good to have the kids getting to play that stuff, I guess, but I don't know. It's just a bummer that's rising.
Burst is the barcades.
When the barcades die is when the bubble will burst.
Yeah. You think it's the barcades because they're buying like 2 and 3 copies of everything?
Because money's because they get a bank loan and they're like money's no object. I'll take a Robotron for $2,000. Fuck it.
They're buying multiple 34 Andrew, and they're also buying games at premium prices that no one would normally buy at.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So when the barcades die, that's when the bubble bursts and we can buy affordable games and get our environmental Tron again for a reasonable price.
Wait, but putting together my retirement back here.
I've invested my entire life savings into my arcade collection. Come on.
I was going to cash out and make $1 million.
The back of my lift gate. That was fun.
What? EDOT?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. That's all one piece too, isn't it?
Hey Jason, does your buddy have a Clov name? Is he on Clov?
Not on the Clov. There is so many people.
Early.
Yeah.
When it was the beginning, it was supposed to be something. It was supposed to support the people in the hobby. Once you reach so many games, then you were supposed to actually get some financial support. Well, that never happened.
That I don't know.
It went a different direction, and it went corporate, and I bailed out. I mean, they took my listings down. I said, "Well, you take my listings down. I'm not going to sit around and retype over and over again. I'm done."
Because you were selling. You were mostly a seller. Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, I was buying, and
Weird.
I'd sell every once in a while, 1 or 2 pieces if I had doubles. I just
I missed there. I didn't start till around 2011 or 12 on KLV, but so I don't know any of the other further back roots.
I have no idea about any of that myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I started like 2014, 15 or something like that.
Okay.
I started in 87. First I went to was in an auction in Youngstown, if you can believe. It was a major operator right on Market Street in Youngstown.
Who's posting our link?
What
do you mean?
Had another place up the road on Indian.
How did you get that?
That was a crazy auction. That started it all for me. I think it was Mr. Dew.
Yeah, Mr. Dew. Huh? So, I mean, in the late 80s, they were...
Guy. That's not our Hangouts, Mock. Sorry.
Oh. I think in the late 80s, early 90s, it was kind of like when they were super cheap, right? I mean, $50 games all the time kind of deal? Or
I remember in the 2000s. I mean, I didn't have money. I'd go to an auction with $100 and come home with whatever I wanted, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean... It still happens, but extremely rare. Yeah.
So, Jason, how come you have so many duplicates of games?
I don't have any duplicates of games.
I thought you said you had 2. Oh shit, my brain's not working today. What was the game you traded with the Popeye?
Oh yeah, Popeye. I traded Popeye for Space Fury.
Space Fury, and you say you had 2 of them.
I already own the Space Fury, but luckily, most of the parts, 95% of the parts between Space Fury and Eliminator are the same. So I just got the art in, got an Illuminator soundboard, and burned the ROMs and so on.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. I was just wondering that.
And the only other duplicate I have, I suppose, would be Asteroids, but one of them is running a color vector monitor with my own color code to make it you to change the graphics and whatever.
Oh, weird. So it's a regular Asteroids, but in color?
Yeah, it's color Asteroid. Now there was a hack made years ago, but me and a friend of mine, we hacked it way better. Running off intensities is programmable colors. You can decide which color you want, and I actually changed all the graphics around. So instead of fighting asteroids, you're fighting a whole bunch of spaceships, kind of like Space Fury, or you know what I mean?
Oh, interesting.
You got that on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, somewhere. I think it's called Color Asteroids.
Oh, I have to look that up.
That'll be hard to remember.
Color.
That video about the color asteroids.
Well, that's like the Atari 2600 version of asteroids, right? With the different colored.
That's true, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like solid filled.
Yeah, totally.
And they go up and down, not all around.
Hey, man, I loved it eating M&Ms in my neighbor's basement playing that asteroids. I thought it was the best.
Yeah, I
love that game. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. That was.
You have this.
Did you have to do something weird to go into hyperspace, like push down and fire or something? I forget.
I don't remember ever.
Well, yeah, no, because it was rotate left, rotate
left or right, and then up or down.
Up was thrust. Down was the whatever the bonus thing was.
Hyperspace.
Either the shield or hyperspace.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I remember.
That's right.
They had to come up with all those combos because you only had one button.
Yeah, no, that's right.
I'm looking at all your pictures, all your faces here, and I see one of you guys has a Starship 1. Let me ask you, does your Starship 1 work?
Fucking C-Bar.
C-Bar.
It's cool, man. I look at it every week and like it.
The critical
so the monitor's actually pooched in it.
Pooch?
Oh,
yeah. Next caller.
Ouch.
Did say pooched.
All right, don't say it in French. Le moniteur c'est tout fucké.
So C-Bart's up in Canada, and how long you got that? Maybe 2 years ago? I don't know.
Yeah, 2 years sounds right.
And is that a black and white?
Yes.
Raster, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a monitor issue, you said, right?
Yeah. So basically, it's not technically a flyback; it's a microwave diode. Whereas Buffett only need them, and basically, it's got a crack or a fracture somewhere in it, and you turn it on, and this room becomes uninhabitable because of the ozone production.
Wow.
Prove it. Put on a gas mask.
Yeah. No.
For your asteroid monitor, work for that monitor.
You're breaking up, Jason.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
The same monitor that Arcade Shop sells for the asteroids monitors will work for your Starship 1.
So the same parts that are for
the same chassis.
Diode. You guys, you're referring to the diode on next to the flyback. And
no, the actual flyback assembly has something wrong with it, and it's pumping out ozone. I don't know if it's not clicked in right, but all the solder joints are right. The anode cup is sat in, but it's like a normal flyback is the chunk, the wire, and then the cup. This one here, there's a smaller chunk with what looks like a frisbee, then a wire coming out, then a little tube, and then the anode cup.
Sure, but that right where that wire is, in line with that wire is a diode, and that's what I was referring to. Like often you will see and smell the sparks or the ozone, and it's usually that diode. And the same diode that replaces asteroids will also replace that one. It's just a thought.
And where?
Do it, Jimbo. Yes.
Yes.
I was waiting for that.
And where might I find this diode?
Arcade shop. Now, it's funny you said the word microwave diode, because you can do a quick short test with a diode that's in most microwaves. You know what I mean?
Scary.
As long as the anode actually goes toward the tube.
Put it in there for 30 seconds.
Cook your chicken dinner in there.
Now,
I'm picturing
now you
Seabart
set the microwave to 10 or just on a 1?
I would rather stick a fork in an outlet. Thank you very much.
You bake a potato. You stick the anode in the back of it like it's a monitor. And you bake a potato.
I like it.
Something.
I mean, Seabart, did you have a plan on how you're going to fix that monitor? Like, were you going to send it to Buffett or something, or what was the plan there?
I couldn't find any parts for the thing, but if it is that one component,
that'll be expensive.
If you really get stumped, the chassis, the Motorola chassis that's in most Space Invaders, will plug into that. Even though you're driving a 22-inch tube, it'll work just fine. And you have to swap the yoke also. But a Space Invaders chassis will bolt directly in place of that chassis. So that'd be kind of cool, you know.
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah, Seabart, quit slacking. You have all these options.
no more
What
excuses.
the hell? How long have you had that game? 2 years? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but this is the Jesus son of a bitch time of the year for me, because I got preparations for the big Canada party and shit.
No, I'm pretty sure this is like the most intelligent conversation we've ever had about Starship One. So this is
Normally our conversation ends at, so have you made any progress in Starship One? No. Okay.
Yeah.
I bought an EM pin.
Yeah.
I didn't buy that. That was a Christmas present.
I just sold my Starship One about a week ago. I regret it, but whatever, you know. I do have extra parts if you ever need any. Let me know, man.
I fixed
No
most
of that,
of the board. It plays blind.
No excuses.
Yeah. Just trying to find
I'm gonna go ahead and
now.
introduce Carrie Z to you right now. Carrie,
she's our female.
She has a question for you on a game she's been trying to fix for what, a year, 2 years?
Longer. Pretty much since I've owned it. It only worked. It worked for a game and a half, and then it died, and then it worked for maybe 6 months, and then it died. And I don't know how long it's been dead now, but I just dusted it yesterday. So there's that. It doesn't look like a dead game. So
maybe it works now,
right? So the game in question, and maybe you have some insight on
maybe you've heard
how
of
to
it.
do this. Yeah, maybe you heard it. It's a little game called iRobot, and it has the power supply. I pretty much just want to fling out the window and stomp on. So I rebuilt it. It didn't work.
On my iRobot, I took out the power supply and wired in a switcher, and I used a $2 audio amplifier, because the amplifier is built into the original iRobot power supply. But is your issue really the power supply?
Yes, at least I think it is. So it was initially the power supply, and ended up having it rebuilt professionally, and then it worked for, like I said, 6-7 months, and then it went out again. And I was like, oh, look at the marquee light is out. Oh, I tried changing it and didn't. Yes, my dog is being insistent. And it's like, oh, funny, the light bulb doesn't seem to, even when with the new starter, doesn't work. And I'm going to at least play a game. And then as I start to play a game, the whole thing went. Discovered that there's so I actually had a friend over the other day, and we were messing with it, and discovered that there's a short in the power supply. So there's that. And I'm hoping that it did not cause damage to the boards, but I am sick to death of that power supply, and was hoping to use a
castles that took that power supply.
What? Say that again.
I didn't hear what you said.
A very few amount of crystal castles actually shared the power supply with iRobot. All the rest took the regular AR2. I always thought that was interesting, because people think the power supply is rare, but it's not as rare as people might think. But it was me. And if I was lazy, which I am a lot, I mean,
lazy's good.
Put a switcher in mine for the same reason. It never lasted long, and
So I think the problem there, Carrie, though, is there's not much documentation of the
right. That's just it. Right? Like has been my goal since pretty much the day I got it, and it died because the power supply took a big fat shit. But how to accomplish that? Because
Mock just got a boner, by the way.
Did somebody say shit?
Joke, sorry.
Did someone say shit?
You had to have listened in a couple weeks ago. Sorry.
Inside joke. Sorry.
Isn't like the sound related to, like, I thought that I thought there was something more to it than merely figuring out the wiring and putting in a modern switching power supply.
Well, it's not. Yes, there is more to it. You have two audio pins that come out of the iRobot circuit board. And I hope please don't take me for gold, but I'm 99% sure. Two audio pins for one set of speakers. One is the inverse of the other. But anyways, if you were to connect a separate audio amplifier, for example, they sell like $2 amplifiers on eBay. And you could just wire that in instead. I actually have a 5-volt power audio amplifier on my iRobot. You know what I mean? And it just connects right to the power supply. And I actually, you can pin Molex connectors and plug it in, so you're not damaging anything. You're just swapping something. You know what I mean?
So when you said though that, like, sorry, maybe I'm just want to make sure I remember. You said that iRobot could run an AR2?
No,
or
no. What I was mentioning is some Crystal Castles use the same power supply as iRobot. I'm not sure if it was towards the beginning of the run or towards the end of the run.
Oh, okay. Crystal Castles ran either the iRobot or an AR2.
Yeah, but most Crystal Castles ran the regular AR2.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
So all the voltages just line up with a switcher?
I believe it's only 5 volt and 12 volt. It's actually 5 volt, 10.3 volts, but you can set it 12.
The iRobot I used to have that's at Grinkers now, it had a switching power supply in it. So it for sure had a switching power supply. I couldn't.
Modern switching.
There seems to be a trend here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. All the working ones seem to have a modern switching power supply.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, at least that'll get it running until, some years down the line, you want to actually go crazy.
I can't tell you how many
original.
I can't tell you how many times that I've fucking replaced. Like, you rebuild one of these linear power supplies, you buy a whole fucking kit for it, spend $30 or whatever, you shotgun the whole thing, and it still doesn't work, and then you're out $30, and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to put a switcher in there. They're like $20, and be done with it.
Yeah.
Like, I swear, like, at least half of the power supplies that I've touched, that's what I ended up doing. Marl Madness is a prime example.
It's a touchy subject for a lot of people. I kind of have a different opinion on depending on the game. I would never put a switcher in an Atari except for iRobot.
Really?
Sorry, Jim.
In general,
hey, you put my game next to any other Marl Madness, I guarantee you can't tell the damn difference because it's still running. It's just for the DC.
Mm-hmm.
So is it because of audio? Is that why you got to put an amp in or something if you do a power supply?
Well, yeah. Normally the AR2, AR1, AR3 will have an audio built into it. That's what the AR stands for, audio regulator.
So did you have to do a separate amp on yours, Jimbo?
No, I'm still using
okay, so it's kind of like piggybacking the whole setup.
Yeah, yes. The only thing I'm bypassing, I'm doing is just bypassing the DC voltage. Everything else coming from the AR3 works.
I see. Yeah.
They failed on.
Problem one time with a Tato lock and chase. Now that was a strange power supply. That just what a pain in the butt to rebuild. Remind me of the iRobot project. That was a pain too. So
yeah,
I just put a PC power supply on the Tato and did the PC hack thing. The green wire hack.
I'm not a fan of a standard PC power supply because there's longer wires in an arcade machine, which could cause your voltage to drop. So you may have 5 volts right there at the power supply, but by the time it gets to the PCB, you might have 4.5. You can't adjust it.
Right.
Ick.
Pick up that
So one of the recent projects I saw you do, Jason, was it's got the bubble bezel. The Aztrack, is that right?
Aztrack, yeah.
So was that a pretty expensive mold to do that? I'm just curious for like.
It was very expensive.
Yeah. Because you really need to have like, I mean, unless they're totally buffing them out, you have to have a really nice finish on your mold that it's forming to.
I did some crazy trading, and I ended up getting Aztrack circuit board. And so I was excited. I got a legitimate Aztrack circuit board. And then I kind of realized, I need everything else because then I have to build a machine, right? And I went everywhere trying to have them make that bubble. And most of the companies that make those bubbles that would even listen to me make skylights, And so I ended up using a skylight company, and they were the only ones. I contacted everybody. They're the only ones that would do that bubble. And literally 50% of them that they sent to me were garbage, and they're just basically trash. And the other ones were good. So I totally put my ass on that. I didn't even break even, but at least I got my bubble.
Yeah, there you
go. To try to make up the cost, but whatever,
Dang, that's crazy. Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, I've done a little bit of vacuum molded parts, but that has got to be just a pricey one. Because when you have to have a really nice finish, that's the issue. If it's like a textured finish, you can blemishes, whatever, like the molded seats and the, Sinistar, that kind of stuff. No one will really know the difference there. But when it's in a visible spot where the monitor is, that needs to be like.
Needs to be pristine.
Yeah.
Exactly. By the way, anyone have a control panel for one of those?
Oh, he's been looking for a Sinistar cockpit control panel for like 15 years.
For what game?
Sinistar cockpit.
Oh.
So you got a machine that didn't even have a control panel?
Yeah, it was taken out. I don't know.
So is it really that much different than an upright?
It's converted to Arkanoid.
Yeah, probably. Rastan.
Converted to Rastan cockpit.
Like a side hack and slash inside a little spaceship.
If I throw RAM at it, I'm sure I'll get it going.
So the is it narrower, or what's the difference between the upright and the cockpit?
It's vacuum formed.
Oh, yes, you're right. Okay, so I used to have one a long time ago. It actually is in Tennessee.
Really?
Your buddy bought it off me.
That will just make you a new one.
I have one myself.
I have one myself.
Really?
A new one.
Oh no, vacuum molded. That's a bit of work. Sheet metal, no problem. I can do sheet metal parts. Yeah. Which, by the way, so I'm gonna criticize you a little bit here, Jason. So your last video you just did, it turned out all right, but at first I'm like, what is he doing? So you're what's the game you just did the conversion? Eliminator?
The control panel?
Yeah, the control panel. I'm like, okay, wait a second. He's not actually like putting in sheet metal spot welded plugs or JB welding sheet metal. He's doing some kind of fiberglass work. I'm like, this is just gonna be all fucked up. But then when I saw you do the webbing or whatever, the fiberglass stuff, I'm like, okay, I guess that would work. But at first I was like, because I've seen people do like Bondo only, and it's like one little tap and the whole thing pops right out. Sure. I don't know. Some people here probably have done that, but I don't know. I just, in my personal opinion, it's too big of an area just to rely on Bondo only, inch and eighth hole or whatever. But
that fiberglass resin, if you don't belt sand or sand the back too much, it's just as strong as the steel. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's about 4 times thicker than the steel.
Now, okay, so another thing that I've seen. Now, this was probably Bondo though, but there's a guy not too far from me that he had a Space Ace that was converted to something else, and he converted it back, or somebody else converted it back to Space Ace. And I'm like, what in the hell's wrong with the control panel overlay? So what they did, I think, was they didn't wait long enough for the Bondo or whatever to cure, and it off gas through the control panel overlay. So it has like these almost like bleach spots where the button holes used to be on the conversion. And I'm like, it just destroyed the control panel overlay. I'm like, I would imagine you got to wait like a week for that, or I don't know. I guess it.
With epoxy resin, you can put it right over.
That's
in 2 hours.
Nice.
2 hours, it'll be so strong. If you hit it with a hammer, you'd have to hit it hard enough to dent that steel to break that.
Crazy.
That resin, you know.
Yeah, once you did the fiberglass, I'm like, okay, I guess I could see that working. But until you did the fiberglass, I'm like, this is not going to work.
If I had the equipment, sure. I mean, I wouldn't be. It'd be nice if you weld some, but then you're going to need to do some body work after you weld it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
The weld, warp the metal, and so on. You know.
Or the other, if you get plugs, then you have a like a backer piece of sheet metal, and you could just like JB weld all that on there. On the bottom side, it's going to look like shit. But
I've done that too.
Control panel.
Even soldered quarter holes and stuff.
Yeah, you're describing my warlords.
Yeah. But who
JB
cares?
Weld's an amazing thing.
We like junk in the trunk, don't we?
It's pretty from the top, but don't turn it over.
Warlords at least be worth a quarter.
Yeah, well, my Warlords was converted to a joystick game.
Oh, I got you.
It's a cocktail, so yeah, so it's a joystick in the middle. Yeah, it was probably Street Fighter.
Where's cocktail mode on this? Flip the screen.
Dude, that would suck for player 2.
Oh, I know.
So, Jason, do you have like certain games that you always go back to that you like playing a lot? Like what are your current favorites like right now that you're playing?
You know, for the last half an hour, I've been playing Eliminator just because it's the new one. But honestly, it's vectors. You know, I'm obsessed with the vectors, and I love how damn near all of them play. And I don't know. I'm just infatuated with the vectors. You know,
do you have a Vectrex?
He does have a Vectrex.
Oh yeah,
I've seen the Vectrex video.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Polarized the Vectrex.
Yeah, I actually modified the Vectrex to make it color. And it runs off a color monitor.
Yeah, that was nuts. That was an amazing video to watch.
You know, one guy left a comment on that video, and he says fake news, and he's like swearing at me. You're trying to lie to everybody, and I'm like, no, it's real, honest to God. And he's like, no, it can't be done. And I'm like, yeah, it can. I ended up having to. He's like one of the 2 people I ever deleted on my YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some douchebags in the hobby.
So how many spare extra Nintendo Versus working boards do you have? Can we work out a deal?
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm going to give one away here shortly to a guy. Yeah, well, there's a guy on Facebook. He said that
I'm on Facebook.
He showed all these pictures of his red tent, and he says, "Oh, I'm in another country. I don't want to tell everybody who it is, but I'm in another country, so I can't find these parts. So I'm just gonna basically fuck it up." And so you want to put a multi-game in it and everything. And I said, "Dude, I'll give you a harness, everything, as long as you at least pay shipping." And so I'm getting ready to send one out to that guy.
Oh, that's a little karma. Yeah, no, I'm just looking for I was telling Carrie this yesterday. I've got 1 or 2. I can't find my other one, but I've got 1 or 2 non-working boards and for my red tent. They've never worked, but I've just I hung on to them. And then finally I was like, I'm looking for 1 more fully working board that I can populate, so just for quick swapping purposes. I have 2 right now. I'd like 1 more, and then I can put my 6 most played games, on those 3 boards. And so I've got these non-working boards. I'm like, I've been hunting around, and And a couple people on Clav have been like, "Hey, I've got one, like $300." I'm like, "Fuck that!" And so, like, I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's not even like with games and stuff, And so I'm like, well, maybe I should see about getting these boards repaired. And so I find that old thread from like 2012, who repairs what, and CD Jump's on there, and then Mike Kessler, and I think Mike Kessler said had listed in there. He mentioned Nintendo Versus, so did CD Jump. CD Jump said PM him for price stuff, but Mike Kessler had right in there prices $75 plus parts and return shipping. And I'm like, that's not too bad. I mean, granted, when I bought these boards, you could get a fully working board for $50 to $70 without, but I'm like, if people are asking stupid money and I'm going to end up paying through the ass just for a board, maybe that's not so bad. So I PM both Mike Kessler and CD Jump, and hoping that maybe CD Jump is a little less. CD Jump right away responds, he's like, "Sorry, I got rid of all my Nintendo stuff years ago, and I no longer repair those." I'm like, "Fuck." Okay. then Mike gets back to me, and I'm like, and I'm ready for him to. Yeah, I'm ready for Mike to be like, "Here's my address. It's $75, but that's just 2012 that he posted this." He responds, $150 plus parts plus shipping. I'm like, "Fuck you." Well, I didn't. I'm like, "Thanks." I'm like, good God! So it's not even worth it to have these boards repaired unless someone.
I can only imagine some of these boards, like sometimes they can be an easy fix where they do it in 15 minutes. Other times they could be spending 2 or 3 hours. So maybe they're just quoting on the worst case scenario. I don't know.
I don't know either, because I mean, you look at the Nintendo Versus board, and you have to populate it with the CPU, the PP, all that stuff. So it's mostly capacitors and sockets and shit. So like, I can't imagine there's too many custom chips on this board, because you're providing those when you put these games on there. So I don't know. But I was just like, fuck, it's not even worth it to send this board out unless you have a connection.
You just blew my fucking mind that Versus boards are worth that much. Just like a working, plain, empty.
Oh yeah, no, like people are trying to
insane.
People are trying to sell like a Versus Super Mario Brothers board that just has on one side just Super Mario Brothers for like $250.
Fuck.
I got all of my boards for like no more than $70 a pop with at least one game on there. It's just silly. And this is 2000.
Andrew, I remember getting my Rastan board for 5 years ago working.
Yeah. 5 years ago.
I don't think I've ever paid more than $50 for a Rastan board, and I got like 6 of those.
Yeah, and now they're like 200
whip
plus,
you there,
right?
but now it's like Rastan.
It's crazy.
I don't mean to be. I'm not doing that.
Nice.
But every time I see a Rastan board for sale for a reasonable price, for some reason I just buy it. And I've got too many Rastan boards.
It's kind of like Carrie, but home use only vectors.
Yeah.
They just kind of fall in her lap.
I know she's buying for like $75.
It's been a while though. Damn it.
Yeah. So Jason, Carrie, we have like 2 of them, 3 of them. I don't know how many now.
Well, I didn't always keep all of them. I found them and let other people know about them. So I actually managed to get more than I have. I think actually the only home use only vector I have might be my Gravatar. I'm trying to think of if there's anybody else. Yeah, I think that's actually the only vector. One. Yeah, but I did find another Gravatar, and that I had given a heads up to a friend about, and the Tempest Cabaret, and actually,
Here we go. They start multiplying.
Again, not mine. I gave a heads up, so maybe some karma will fall my way. Although the karma was pretty strong with getting the Gravatar.
Which one of you guys has the largest collection? I'm just curious. Which one of you guys is the crazy one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're all pretty crazy.
Okay, look, we can just kind of say how many games we have. I probably have about 35 games.
Nice.
Who I would guess maybe Carrie or Andrew has the second most.
Yeah, that's safe.
Yeah, I have to do the count. I used to laugh. I remember when I got in this hobby, and I'd say, "Oh, hi, my name's Carrie. So how many games do you have?" And then people would be like, "Oh, I don't know." And I'd be like, "Wow, how could you not know how many games you have?" And now I'm like, "Okay, well, do we count?
And Clav used to be a big deal too. Like, I got a list in my signature every game I have, and now it's like, fuck that.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, in the beginning, I did because I kind of felt like I needed cred because I was one of the only girls on there, and so I didn't want to be like. I felt like I needed to kind of prove myself and be like, "Look, I have a bunch of games." And at some point, I'm like, "Fuck it, I don't need to prove myself anymore." So now I just list kind of what the projects are. So I have 5 in the room I'm in right now,
and a monitor.
And exactly. And a monitor and a Vectrex, and parts, all sorts of parts. And then in the garage, I have 15, 16, 17, I guess 17 plus another project or 2, because it's too hard to try to keep them all straight. Oh, and then if you count moles, whack-a-mole. And I have 3 pins. So I don't know, whatever that adds up to.
We'll just say 30-ish.
Yeah,
I'm going to say 30.
Under 30. Yeah. Under 30. I've got under 30.
Carrie has more.
Now, I got to speak up for him. At one time, one of our guys here actually had like upwards of 50 games of the same machine.
Yes, that's true.
Why don't you go ahead and speak up and talk about that,
You know what? That's funny because when you said he was coming on, I didn't know about the game, and that's one of the first I YouTubed, the name of it, and his video came up, and I think he just sold it. Did you sell your what game I'm referring to there, Jason?
No.
You had a game listed for sale recently in the last 2 months for
$1.
Just say it already.
What? Wait, hold on. I can.
It's not a video game. It's not a pinball machine.
No,
that should make it obvious.
Yes.
I still have it. Never sold. I just figured, things come and go. Sometimes, you need to pay bills, and you kind of look around and think,
"Yep,
do I really not want?" or whatever.
So, Jason, I'm sure you've heard it's kind of like an urban legend within arcade community about the fire escapes, right? That supposedly they all were destroyed in some kind of.
But they weren't. They weren't. I have a good friend that knows a guy.
Well, I have a good friend who got them.
No, I'm the guy. I'm the guy. I'm the barn guy. I found him in a barn, and this is what my opinion was. I wasn't sure. The guy I got it from was an 80-year-old guy, and he was in business with the guy that story was based off of, I believe. Okay, and I think what happened is when that old man died, my old guy went and took the games. Because when I asked him about it, he got real cagey about it. After I done the deal, and I'm like, "George, listen, I got to, oh, no, these games were never." Because I'm like, what are the chances that old guy and my old guy had 2 barnfuls of I mean, when that picture, it was a beautiful picture in the warehouse with all the empty cabinets. No, mine were moved. When my old guy took them, he ended up like moving them like 3 times. He told me I kept selling the building I had them stored in, and I paid guys to move them. So they were probably in way better shape than when they were in that picture. In the picture they were beautiful, and by the time I got, they were sitting in a barn for, I don't know, he said 15 years, 10 years or whatever. And
Dave, you got them about 2 years ago?
I got him in May of 2017. Yes, 2 years. And I fucking finally have to get rid of I have 2 storage units. I had 3, 2 10x30s.
So in your haul, you got like
45 games with PCBs, maybe 48. He ended up taking 2 at the last minute. Like that wasn't originally, so I want to keep 2.
And then another like 20 that are mostly empty or partially empty, right?
Well, I go by 45 to 46 with PCBs in them.
Okay.
I had empty cabinets at about like 27 empty cabinets, and then a ton of parts. And then it was funny.
So you bought up the entire supply of.
I bought up the whole barn, and it was a lot of work. to move it all. It was like, and it was funny because when I originally read, we have 2 storage units. I had guys some work. Come on, help me. Come on, can you help me? Like, it's going to take us forever. I had a 26-foot Penske truck. And then we get to the storage unit. And my friend's like, dude, how many of these storage units you got? He goes, 2. And he goes, dude, you're going to need a 3rd. And I'm like, oh, shit, you're right. Because we packed them all in. Oh, we lost them. Did we lose?
You got bored with your story. Jeez. See, you talked.
It's all your fault.
So he was kind of looking at you, and then he locked up. I thought he was really interested in your story.
Yeah. I guess Jason didn't like the story.
Here we go.
I'm back.
All right.
But I'm actually familiar with your story. Matter of fact, I have a buddy who bought a bunch of them also.
I know who it is. Yeah, he's a great guy.
I love that story.
Yeah. He's
so was
from
that
Ohio
before
as well.
you, Dave, or after you?
Huh?
So did this person buy a bunch from you, or was it before you got yours?
No, he bought
Jason's
one off
talking
me,
about?
and he bought a bunch of projects too. Real nice guy.
Okay.
And he actually bought a couple other games off me too, because he uses the same shipper. This old gentleman who's a super nice guy. You know how I'm referring. Fast Eddie. He's a guy who goes up and down the East Coast. This guy's a character, man. He's got the truck, and he's just driving. He's like 70 years old, and but he uses him as his shipper, because he does business with a bunch of these guys. And but his buddy bought one of my machines and then bought a few other projects off me. Real nice guy.
Yeah, just recently. Well, maybe not so recent. Let's say 5 months ago. I actually got a new old stock, never been used fire escape cabinet, but empty. But
never been used what?
Not one screw in the whole cabinet. And I ended up swapping out the guts from a rotten cabinet into the nicer.
Yeah, that's mine. That came from me. Yeah. Well, no, he got some nice ones.
In the same boat.
No, that guy got some, because that was at the beginning, and I'm like, pick whatever. I mean, I still have like 3 or 4, maybe 5, 6, like decent ones, but some of them I just got to take. I got to saw them.
I just heard Orange Whip saying "fuck you, Dave."
Yeah. But that's why I still have 2 storage units, because I have like a storage unit with like 20 cabinets in it. But some of them are so shitty, like there's no point. And in fact, one guy wanted, man, this guy, he must have texted me. I'm not saying anything bad about him, but he's like, yeah, because when I first got these games, I didn't know anything about them, or before I bought them, I saw your video, Jason, and I'm like, oh, all right. And I heard the story, and I started researching, and then I happened to see some post about a guy, his cabinet must have been shit, and he just had all the parts. And I'm like, boy, this is the perfect guy for my empty cabinets. Like, this guy needs a cabinet, and I'm the man. And then, man, he was like, oh, I got to get it to where he's from. And then, I'm like, shipping's going to be too much. And he says, how about cutting it up and boxing it? And I go, man, do you know how much long that's going to take? Like, for me to, like, he wanted to use it as a template to make a brand new one. And it was just this back and forth, like, dude, this isn't going to happen. I don't think, like, unless you drive, it's not worth my time. Like you knew how much it's going to be. It's going to end up being $200 with FedEx. And my wife works for an airline, so I get like 75% off or whatever. But still, it's going to be a fortune. You're better off just shipping the whole thing. But, yeah, so I was but you were the first person your video was the first, I'm like, I've never heard of the game. And in fact, when I looked at the old guy, when he had the one that wasn't in the barn, which is the one I have to my right, it was the first one I bought. But everyone was missing a ROM chip, because he said the other guy took all the ROM chips so he couldn't sell them. And that's was part of the deal. I'm like, George, I don't know if these things are going to work. I want you to give me a game without the chip. Let me put the chip in and then see. And then most of them out of the 45, 48, most of them were pretty good. I mean, I think I got about maybe 10.
I'm pretty sure that round chip has not been dumped yet. So you have to copy it from another machine still. You know what I mean?
I have it. I made 45 copies. When Ian Kellogg was still in business, I said, give me 15. And I'm like, hey, I need it. He goes, what the heck? How? Because he didn't know the story. And I go, I need another, boom. And then it was at the beginning, I was actually taking the PCBs out to put it and then screw it. After that, I was like, all right, I can just put this in here without even, because it was like 30 minutes to unscrew, take the, it wasn't a quick thing, just to put it in. But I could tell right away if the game's working. If it's not working, if something's wrong with the PCBs, all the lights are solid lit. The game over, high score, they're just, and then there was maybe like, I don't know, 6 or 7, maybe 8 out of the maybe 10 out of the 45. So not that bad. Most of them were working. But
on that game, very bottom of the cabinet, directly straight down in the middle towards the back, there's a little circuit board that controls the flashing red light. And I didn't have that in mind. Mine was missing. So I ended up having to get some proto board, and I didn't see the original design. I just made my own design of what I figured how it should work to control that light. I ended up using a MOSFET that to control the
light. Bloody MOSFET. Yeah.
Where's Griffin?
It's a bloody MOSFET, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be like a yellow bug light that does. And some of the machines, one was like solid, and then one was, and I thought.
So if you have the proper setup, there's gonna be like a bunch of dead flies inside your cabinet, or what?
Oh no! The best thing I kept thinking, when I bought them, these games were in a barn for 15 years, and I was telling him, I go, maybe he goes, oh, I think I saw a mouse in one. He goes, oh, that's the only one that would have a creature in it. I go, how, dude? These are in a barn for 15 years.
Yeah.
That must be lucky number 17 that you're hitting.
The mice loved the coin bucket because that's where the nests were. There wasn't too many. I only found there was one that had like raccoon poop in it. That was just one out of. It was surprising out of all of them. And then one had
usually it's the marquee light area.
Right? How the fuck did a raccoon get in there?
Right?
I don't know. It was big ass shit.
And then just shit in the bucket.
It was in the bucket. But the best
was the cabinet that you sent Arcade Jason, right?
What? Yeah. No, the best was the dead frog, and there was a skeleton bones. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I sold that machine. I cleaned it up, but that was like a gray stain, where I couldn't get. I wanted to say that was a dead frog carcass. That
it was like the Shroud of Turin.
Yeah, you should have outlined it with like white.
The Shroud of Kermit.
Outline it with white chalk.
Yeah, like a crime scene, right?
Go around those web fingers.
Yeah, like a CSI cabinet.
Because the dead frog would have been just sprawled out, with its arms and legs,
right?
completely flat. Yeah.
So Firescape's arguably one of the most rare games we've kind of dealt with, even though someone got like 50 of the fucking things.
Well, people said that because they said, "Oh, you're overflooding the market." I go, "All right, how many have actually even seen one?" I mean, it's like, it's rare. It's not like a Centipede where they made 80,000 of them.
Yeah.
Is it the greatest game in the world? No. Do I like it? Yeah, it's novelty, and people don't like arcade games. This is easy. I can figure this out. Like they'll grab it.
I think it's pop. I mean, look at Grinker. So many people were playing it.
Yeah.
So speaking of Grinker, in the YouTube chat, Yodi is asking. He wanted me to ask Jason if he could make it out to Grinkfest this year. So do like a Teespring, money campaign. Get yourself out there. Right.
Have you heard of Grinkers?
When is Grinkers? When is it?
October.
It's October 11th, 12th, somewhere around there. Yeah.
It all depends if I'm rich or not.
Yeah.
No, the biggest cost, Jason, is just getting there. Like food, and I don't know if you're a drinker or whatever, but the food's cheap. It's just the games
beers are $1, sandwiches are $3.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not a drinker, then it's not. But the food is, I mean, the half-price sandwiches they're absolutely delicious. People like when you guys say, "Oh, we're gonna go out to eat," I go, "Man, I'm gonna spend I'm cheap. I'm gonna spend $2 here and eat." It's so delicious.
And he's got a little over 300 games in his arcade. I saw the post a couple days ago. I think 308 or somewhere around there, 311 maybe.
Yeah, I'm not a drinker at all. Really.
Not at all. Nice.
Jason, I was there for 3 days. I think my tab was like $70. That's with food and beers all $1. Like it's so
that would have been like
you feel guilty
5 times that easily.
Jason, you should really think about coming out. I think you'd have a good time.
It would be awesome. Yeah. It'd be a good time.
It is a good time.
So, okay. So I wanted to change to talking about rare games. What's like one of the rarest games you've gotten to work on? Because you have like basically two rich guys that have like crazy collections, and I guarantee you worked on some rare stuff.
The rarest I've ever touched would be Akahar.
Okay, which I saw the thread about that recently. So I know Atari Scott. Atari Scott lives like a 10-minute drive from my house.
Really?
And, yeah.
Cool.
So I don't really remember the gameplay, but I remember one at California Extreme that he brought there. And to kind of tie it in, I'm wearing a shirt here called Prototype. So throwback to about 3 or 4 years ago. Atari Scott basically provided most of the games. We did a tournament at California Extreme that was basically all Prototype, uber rare games. But Akahar, for some reason, I don't think could be in because Clint, he's probably in the chat somewhere. He always has some bullshit excuse that he can't. Sorry, Clint, love you. He's our referee.
You can't have that one.
Damn it, my iPad just died, so I can't see the chat now. Oh well. Yeah,
we got to go to the mat with Clint this year.
Yeah. So the referee. So I don't know if you've heard of. Okay, so Twin Galaxies. I guarantee you know that, right, Jason? So yes. The other one is Arcade. AURCADE. Arcade. Have you heard of them?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so they're another, I'll call it sanctioned body that does high score stuff and tournaments and not Guinness, but basically world records. They also track
through witness.
Yeah, so they have there's like a referee guy that we always default with that goes out to the tournaments and stuff. So, but he can be pretty anal about game setups, because he's worried about people cheating or
he keeps it on the up and up. He's
exploits.
The integrity of the tournament is basically because of Clint.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah. Anyways, sorry. I've been drinking. It's my birthday. Fuck it. I'm getting drunk.
Happy birthday.
Cheers, guys.
Did you get that beer penis that I just sent you?
I did. I love that. I showed it to my coworker.
He's wearing it right now.
Did you guys like that?
So we have our own kind of, the Arcade Hangout group has our own, I don't know if you've heard of, it's an app called Slack. It's like a private chat amongst your group or not. I don't know. We always send silly pictures that probably shouldn't be too public. But yeah.
Well done.
So Akahar, you'd say is the rarest game.
Yeah, I mean, after that, I don't know.
I totally get. I mean, we got on this subject a few weeks ago about releasing the ROMs. I totally get how like I said, he's not like a close friend of mine, but I know Atari Scott, and I can see his point of view. That he's gotten these super rare games. And that's a lot of their, value and hype is being able to keep the original ROM files not public, right? But it kind of sucks for us that want to play that can't play it once a year at California Extreme. It's not like bring it. And honestly, I think, in my opinion, most of the people, it's not like they're going to be like, oh, let's make a bunch of 50 fake cabinets and we're going to make tens of thousands of dollars and totally devalue the originals. I don't see that really happening. My personal opinion, but
what?
Yeah,
I have a dedicated Major Havoc.
Okay.
It didn't hurt Major Havoc. I mean, God knows how many repro Major Havocs are out there.
But now, okay, so the argument there though is there was effectively only 3 Akahars, right? Mm-hmm. There wasn't 3 Major Havocs.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a little bit of the difference there, but okay, and I'll say this. So one thing that I thought was hilarious. Okay, so there was a lot of hype. Sorry, I'm going to be talking.
Let him answer your question. Yeah.
No, let the man speak.
Jesus.
All right, I'll let you talk in a minute. I before I forget my thought here. Okay,
it's his birthday. Let him talk.
Yeah, it's his birthday. He can talk all he wants.
Atari Scott's not going to hear this. I guarantee it. Whatever, but. It's kind of funny. So a lot of people that had a lot of hype and bitching about not having the ROM files available for Missile Command 2. It's like a 2-player, not really head-to-head, but it's co-op kind of.
That's what it is, yeah.
And it's a cocktail version, right? So all these people hyping about it and oh, you got to save the ROM files, you have the original prototypes and you should share those and blah, blah, blah. Well, I was at California Extreme one year. You know, I set up games and stuff. So I'm there kind of before hours, before people show up. And I saw it when it first booted up. It had a fucking Windows 98 screen.
Really?
When the Missile Command 2 before it popped up. So he had MAME under the hood, his own MAME one-off, right? So he has all the ROM files backed up. I guarantee that. So it's not like, you know, he's
ROMmed it already.
Yes, but he's, you know, keeping it. I get it. You know, it took a lot of work.
You ought to dump those files as soon as he gets them, just to make sure that they're
preserved. Yeah.
I just thought it was funny,
even if he doesn't share them.
The code should be shared.
I just thought it was funny because, you know, all the people complaining, saying like, you know, how can you just keep this one copy and not share it or back it up? Like they assume he's not backing it up. But sure enough, the game that people are playing was actually a, you know, Windows 98 computer.
I got a question for Arcade, Jason. So in your lifetime, have you known of anyone out there that has a Boonga Boonga?
On behalf of Helicopter Jesus.
Yeah, Helicopter Jesus wants one. He even flew all the way to.
Well, he's strapping a glove on. He knows what we're talking about.
Like the last game I would ever want.
Have you known of anybody to own one though? I mean, is there one out there in the United States?
But there's a meme floating around out there, which is hilarious. So it's what's a butt doctor? What's it called? Proctologist. It says proctologist simulator or whatever.
Yes.
It's like Police Academy Proctor.
I think that's way less offensive than Mock's favorite game, Loverboy.
I didn't know that was my favorite.
If you haven't seen it or played it, you need to look it up.
It's a family favorite.
Yeah. I would essentially say it's a rape simulator, right? I mean, but in like old school 8-bit style.
I'm laughing at that. That's so bad.
Yes,
I love playing the rape simulator. It's up right up there with Custer's Revenge.
Pretty much.
It's like a high-res version of Custer's
Jason,
Revenge.
if you played Loverboy, do you know what we're talking about?
I mean, okay.
Yes, but I've only played bootlegs of that game on Galaga hardware, on a Galaxian hardware.
You have?
I've never actually seen a dedicated.
See,
you know, I mean, was there a dedicated cab for that?
We don't know.
I doubt
We
it.
joke about it that someone should make one and put it at CAX.
Yeah. Like behind the green curtain, you know, like adult only section.
Wait, what, Jason? We couldn't hear you.
You can convert any Galaxian to play that game.
Oh.
It's the same board.
Duh.
Runs
Did
off
you hear that,
Galaxian.
Crafty Mac? Get on that. Put that in your bit kit.
Oh, right. So, you know, like a normal, you know, like Pac-Man, there's like a, you know, when you get between the third and fourth level, whatever it is, there's kind of a cut scene where he's like, you know, chasing ghosts or whatever. What with Loverboy, it's like the dude's like railing a chick in the cut scene, right? Is that basically it? Yeah. I'm like,
you got to use the button and you got to make her come.
Like how you suddenly got shy to say that.
Mock, you wish it was that easy, right?
I know. I'm always looking all over for the button.
You just had to ram a button.
Look how red his face is. Look how red
button. Who's got the button? Got to diddle the skittle.
So Jason, I know you're a fan of John's Arcade. You know, obviously, I've seen you talk about it and stuff.
He has a shirt too.
Yeah. So I mean, this whole group here. There used to be a different podcast called Arcade Outsiders. So John from John's Arcade was the main host of that.
It had a really short run compared to us.
Right? Yeah. So we basically, this whole group became friends because of that podcast. And we used to do like after hours chats, just like text only. I didn't do much myself. I was like too shit faced at that point.
Yeah, we were all in his IRC chat.
Yeah.
Like what we have now.
So effectively, we're all kind of like a spin-off from effectively John's Arcade, you could say. You know, so we're all, you know, fans.
We're all
of
the
his, too,
Frasier to Cheers.
And
love
we all would
love him or
go.
hate him, man. He's entertaining, you know.
And we all went to the Grinkers events that John would throw.
Yeah,
and then we took it over.
So the first 3,
they both
4.
went 11 seasons.
Yeah.
Well, Grinkers 2, I was making badges.
Yes.
So
yeah. You were involved started on the second. Yep. I got more involved on the third, I'd say. Yeah. But now this is gonna be the 7th one this year, right?
7.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Time flies by.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So,
yeah. Happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday.
I like to say I'm 24 again for the second time around.
Yay. Did you hit the big
whoops.
Well, no, what's 24 times 2?
Oh.
I know. We said there would be no math. I'm sorry.
I know.
Where did that go?
I think his computer just died again.
Fantastic.
Did you guys see the new IRC MOTD?
No.
For the day?
The guys posted it for me, but it doesn't show up in my client. But it was like
some people will see it, some people won't. But I made it 250.
Super long.
250 lines. It basically thanks all the Arcade Hangout crew. Then it thanks all our fans. Then it gives about 100 or so websites. So
cool.
You can see it by typing /MOTD.
It didn't work for me either.
Or just click the tab.
Tab. Can't give you a tab unless you order something.
So, Jason, plug a few things. I'm not like we have like way more viewers than you. We have way less actually, but so you have a YouTube channel, right?
Sure.
I posted it on our YouTube chat just so people can go there.
Yeah, Arcade Jason, do you do IRC? Join us.
So you have a YouTube channel, Arcade Jason, and then you also have a Facebook group you created, right? A couple of them, maybe.
Yeah, I feel bad about my Facebook group because I don't it as much as I want and as I should. And
there's only
there's
only so many hours in the day, really. I mean, geez.
Yeah, and I feel bad because 2 or 3 days will go by, and sometimes will specifically ask me, like I'm watching it every 10 minutes, and I feel bad. But yes, Arcade Jason Part Swap. Geez, what's it? Repair and I don't remember the name of this group.
For some reason, I thought you did the Vector one. Maybe that's a different group, but I see you pop up there.
Well, you know what? I use the Vector group that someone maybe a moderator on. And
okay.
I don't have more. I'll help out if but it's not really my group. But yeah.
The Ohio group. Ohio Arcade Collectors.
Okay. I didn't know if I was in. Am I a moderator on there? I thought I don't know.
You could, but you don't even know.
Mox Gleek is like the web interface guy, right?
Yep.
You know all these crazy techniques and stuff.
Oh, I'm a coder by trade, so
he's a super
I wish
nerd.
I was. Now
was that your wife, Mike?
I mean,
yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Jason?
I wish everything was written in BASIC. If only then.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for all you guys that can program. I mean, I for the majority of whatever, I'm pretty decent on how hardware works, but you could never know how hardware truly works 100% until you know how to code, and I don't.
Yeah, the problem, the difficulty of arcade code is assembly language, and that's real low level.
Yeah.
So you got to learn the op codes of each processor and stuff like that. So
sure.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more hardcore. I'm more higher level, like Python and Perl and C# and Java and stuff like that. So yep.
Very cool. Still, I wish I knew any of that.
Someday Gleek's gonna code us a new high score website.
Oh yeah, what was that? Icons.
Oh yes,
that was the best idea ever. I wish I would have stolen all that code.
God, it was so cool. And then,
so Jason, one of the guys who used to be on here with us a lot, he created a website that would be track your high scores and stuff.
Man.
So we would effectively try to do high score tournaments weekly or every couple of weeks. It was pretty fun for a couple months, you know. Just I think it just got to be a bit of work, you know. So
I can give it a whirl. Did you guys see my mock site of Clav? You know how Macklemore, the owner, is gonna change the site from vBulletin to Zenforo? Remember that thread?
Mm-hmm.
So
is that going to kill a bunch of old stuff? Or
I did it already. So if you guys want to see the future Clav, it's on www.thegleek.com/forums. I already told Macklemore about it, and he was like, "Whoa!"
And you've already done the image hosting thing.
Yeah, I own clavimage.com that hosts pretty much most of all.
So we had probably a year ago, maybe less. There was a
Imager.
What was the Imager? Like they started charging to host your photos or something. So everybody lost all their pictures. Yeah. Photo Bucket, that's what it was.
Photo Bucket, okay.
Photo Bucket's lame.
So Gleek started a secondary site, and you actually pay for that, right?
Yeah, I do. Well, it's a one-time charge. Cheveretto software. I didn't code that one, but I customized it.
So I mean, I see it all the time. A lot of people are using your site to post their photos.
Nice. Yeah, it's on my dime. It's my way of giving back to the community. So.
Aww.
Where's Jim? With the sound effects.
So, Jason, what's kind of like new stuff you're working on that maybe you can't tell top secret stuff, but I want to hear new stuff.
There are a few projects that I don't want to mention.
Yeah.
But lately, I've just been looking at my dune buggy, wishing I had more money. I've been working on dune buggy.
The side hobbies, gotta love those too, right?
Yeah. And just recently, I got. I'm not sure if you're familiar with a Hillborn intake, but like this Hillborn intake is at the scoop that goes on top of like your carburetor.
Okay.
That big metal scoop. Since I was like 9 years old, I wish I had a Hillborn intake on something.
Okay.
Hot Wheels, little Hillborn, and just recently I got that, and I've been drawing that damn intake since I was like 9 years old, thinking how cool it was, and now I'm looking. And I just got this garbage buggy sitting outside.
I did see your last video where you showed that. Yeah, that's cool.
It's just me out of garbage, but my 9-year-old kid's kind of coming out, like thinking about that motor, whatever. And so I got
it's like 3 miles to the gallon, but screw it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
Less is more.
Yeah.
So real quick, Jim, you're set up, logged in to the host. Cool. So I got to bounce. So Jim's going to stop the show tonight.
All right, Andrew.
All right.
Till next time.
I'm going to stop in 30 seconds.
That's right. You guys have 30 seconds. Have a good time.
All right. Later, Andrew.
See you, buddy.
Toodaloo. Au revoir.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Jason, it's nice to meet you sort of semi-officially.
You too.
Right. Cheers.
Hasta
All
la
right,
pasta.
See you tomorrow, Indiana Jones.
I was gonna say there's been lacking on the soundboard. Jim.
Move to the head, man.
I can't get there's not an opportune time to do them tonight.
And you haven't done a paging Mr. Herman in at least.
Yeah.
We have a guest and an interviewer that is just nonstop. So there's no.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
I'm having fun with this.
We don't want crickets.
To our 4 viewers, we're sorry for actual arcade talk on this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we apologize.
Don't worry. Next week we'll be back on to just stupid drunkenness, talking about movies and buttholes and stuff.
I can't wait to talk about buttholes.
That's the ultimate combo. Do your homework, kids. What kind of butthole movie questions do you have?
Have I talked about the conversation I overheard? So
best butthole in the movie.
Son was with me. My son was with me at this. It was a local brewery, and there was a group of younger people in their early 20s having some crazy conversation. Now, I'm not saying there's absolutely nothing wrong with this, but it was hilarious. The gay guy that was talking, he was talking about bleached assholes and he was talking about the number of spokes. That the number of spokes is an important thing to realize. And they were like, "What are you talking about?" And my son, who's 19, he's like, "Listen to all this." I'm like, spokes? What the? So the folds of skin on your butthole.
Oh, I mean the star?
My God.
Yes.
Of course, Mock would know that.
He's something about like, kind of like the rings on a tree. The more spokes there are, the more,
the bigger it is.
The more points the more it's been wrecked, the better.
The more it's been wrecked, essentially. I'm like, my God, he's like having this conversation out in the open and people can hear him, And here I am doing the same thing, right? So, all right, sorry.
Little boys have penises.
My
But daddy is a big penis.
What's that, Jason?
My dad would have, when he was alive, he used to have zero filter.
Yeah.
And, I just thought of a story. I used to fix games at an arcade. And because I worked there, I got a free birthday party. And it happened to be my sister's birthday party. Now the owners were gay. And my dad sitting around the birthday table, and the owner, knows me, and he's sitting for talking. And the owner happened to mention how he used to own a bar somewhere else. And my dad says, he looked over, that's a fag bar. And he says, all them queers touching each other and whatever. And he's laughing, making all.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
going and going. And just, I don't know. It was just, very anti-gay, and it was hilarious to watch. At least.
And the other guys are just laughing it up, like, "Oh my gosh," like he had no clue. Your dad, basically.
When I was a boy, we used to beat him up, and I'm like, "Oh, Dad, just shut up."
Yes, times have definitely changed.
Yeah.
Mostly for the better.
I don't know about that.
50 years
Look
ago.
at our president.
Yeah.
No, even worse. Look at my freaking prime minister. Biggest fucking tool there is.
We have it worse.
Yeah, you do.
Aren't you the one that like had the,
We have it worse.
I'm not going to talk about your sordid background with government. C-Bart. Something about the whatever governor's daughter or something.
Is that coming through?
Yeah.
We won't
Fucking C-Bart.
And he's drinking it.
So, Jason, you got any like travel plans? You go to any tournament type stuff or expos or anything?
Have you ever go to CAX?
I haven't gone to as many as I used to. I used to go to every damn thing I could find, and even if it took driving halfway across the country, I'd go. But the major driving factor for me going to a show was to buy something I didn't already have.
Yeah.
And not saying that I have all the stuff, but it seems like that's slowed down. Shows are just shows anymore, it seems to me. I miss the shows where you go there and there's like a flea market and you could buy parts or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Radio.
Yeah, that was my major driving factor to go to a show. And I don't know, I'm losing a little bit of interest on going to random shows.
I think a big part now, it seems like for me personally in the last 5-6 years, it's more just you just wind up talking and socializing with people.
Yeah,
it's not we hardly even touch a freaking game. We're just like sitting there hanging out, talking stories with each other about like our backgrounds or games we're working on or history behind so that to me that's the funnest part now of going to that stuff. So yeah.
You're totally right. What do you call it? There's so many friends I've made being in this hobby. It really is a great hobby. It really is. Unless all hobbies are this good, I don't know.
Yeah, it beats the chess club I was in.
Let's talk about stamps for a minute.
Beats the washer and dryer guys.
Yeah.
I want to see a bunch of stamp collectors get together and just get completely shit faced.
They probably have podcasts and shows too.
Beats the stamp collection club.
Can you imagine the guy showing his stamp to his webcam? You know, just like with like, look at this.
Hey, can we
it's centered?
Look at this Elvis stamp.
Yeah, this is a Class A certified.
I got the fat
whatever.
Elvis and the thin hot Elvis.
Can you believe the prices? They're like double what they were when I got into stamp collecting. Now people want to spend money for
I love this
everything.
Arcade Jason guy. He's drinking and smoking. Dude, you got to go to Great Cook, man. We'll be out smoking outside every day. Oh, it's awesome.
Shit gets real.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
You know, my 11-year-old daughter today, I'm talking like 4 or 5 hours ago. Because I've never smoked around her. She's never seen me smoke a cigarette. It's only if I'm drinking. Never. Yeah, I mean,
but you drink every day, though. Right?
I know. But she's in bed. She's in bed. So,
okay, got it.
So if I do drink every day, and she asked because she knows my wife, and she goes, Daddy, do you ever smoke cigarettes? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, do you still? And I was like, yeah, with your friends.
It's
right?
like asking you if Santa Claus is real.
Oh, dude, it was. Yeah, and this year we told her there was no. She asked. She goes, "Are you Santa?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she couldn't.
Oh no!
I mean,
Did you try?
No.
So your daughter's just a baby.
No, she's 11. But she asked me, and she's never, because she's seen my wife or smelled it on her. Never me. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to lie to her. So I'm like, yeah. And I said, it's awful. It's horrible. Don't do it. I go,
I love you, Jim, for 10 years, and I regret
Sorry,
it.
Dave. Love you too, buddy. Can't wait for Greekers.
Mm-hmm.
That's tomorrow, right? That's Thursday.
Can burgers be every week or at least once a month?
That'd be expensive year for me.
Yeah, same here.
Jason, you got to come to Grinkers. And like I said, it's just getting there is a pain in the ass, especially with the do you fly? Do you not like flying? Because I heard you say you only drive.
Yeah, in general, if a trip costs like $300, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's going to cost $300, but like I said, once you get there, then you're not really spending money. You can get, Airbnb or bunk with someone in a, the Hilton's walking
on paper. If you've never been there, it sounds like a bit of a bite, but you'll never. If you go once, you'll go every year.
It's like I said, you're not going to spend money. The money is just getting there and the hotel. Like you're not booze and food. It's ridiculous. What, 3 days, $70? That's with food and that's your tab. It's like so ridiculous, and it's the social aspect. It's everyone's in the same room. You can drink while you're playing the games, and it's like beers are a damn $1. And you just show we all got badges, and it's just a tab at the end of the. In fact, the one guy, he said, "Oh, my bill's 140." I go, "Dude, you got fucked," because all of ours were like 70. Like I think it was just a mistake, and he was so hammered he didn't question it. Not even that. That's still a bargain because he was there for 3 days. But it's like yours was double, But it's very, very cheap.
Because you get tired when you drive. So
yeah, that's true. What coffee's for?
I quit smoking recently, and I went 2 months without a cigarette, and I had it licked. 2 months, And I just my one buddy was smoking one. I said, give me one. I can handle one. I'm a man.
No,
back
been there, done that. No, I smoked the coffin nails for a little over 10 years.
You started when you were 12? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, they're Mr. 2 years older than me.
I started when I was
I'm like
15, 14. Yeah.
And it's about there for me as well. Smoked for 10 years, been vaping for about 5 or 6 now.
I tried the vape thing, but all right, when I get one of those vape things, I don't know when to quit. And
Oh, interesting.
I have a question, like, how many cigarettes was that worth?
No,
Like,
I think everyone
yeah,
vapes
exactly.
way more than they smoke. It's like a forest fire. You're looking over like, what?
Andrew isn't here to confirm the story, but I don't know if any of you guys were there at Brofest a few years ago.
Oh, when John got a hold of it?
John was just like, he was shit-faced. John's Arcade, John. And, I think he kind of smokes sort of off and on. I don't know if he's regular or not, but whenever he drinks, certainly. And
he bumps them off of me every 5 minutes.
Yeah. And so Andrew vapes, and I don't know if he ever vaped before that. And he's like, Andrew, let me try that out. And he's like, all right, so just kind of take it easy, just inhale just a little bit. But he just did a whole big old.
He was like the bully in Pinocchio when he's trying to get Pinocchio to smoke it. You take a big drag like this.
Yeah. We were laughing our asses off though, because man, he was like totally gagging on it. He was like, oh God, That's
what it reminded me of, but I don't know if anyone got that.
The key to vaping is make sure your fluid is natural flavors and not artificial. The artificial ones are the ones that cause popcorn lung if you haul a shitload of vape at once. So natural flavored juices.
I've never heard of popcorn lung.
And knowing is half the battle.
It's what the tobacco companies are saying is bad for us, and then the government says yes, it's bad for you.
It's like early stages. They're starting to see possible side effects.
Yeah,
and they're calling it popcorn lung. So when you look at it under a microscope, the lung looks like the cells like burst like popcorn.
Correct.
Because of the steam, the effects of the steam or something like that. I don't know.
No, it's because they're using artificial flavors. And it's causing damage.
They need to use real butter with that popcorn. Is what you're
yeah. Yeah. Remember that canola oil shit? The canola oil vape.
No, the issue is they're using the cheaper juice flavors are using artificial flavoring to them, and that's what's causing the big issue. So natural flavors. I've been using
Dave, what is that shirt you're wearing? I have not seen that shirt. Did you make your own custom one?
Yeah, I had it at Grakers. Were you that hammered? You don't wait.
Yes, I
remember that.
I was.
Dude,
I don't remember.
I tried to bring this. I went to Fun Spot 2 weeks. I couldn't find this for fucking the life of me. So I wore the one with all our the silhouettes and everyone.
Right.
Loved it. And I've been getting texts from Brian Koo because he wants the perfect formula for the hot dogs.
I'm not kidding. A recipe on the back of the shirt.
No, I said, dude, it's got to be 2 hours on high in the crock pot. And he used water. I said, you can use beer, you could probably use water too, but he used water. And he says, oh, it was only for an hour. It wasn't. I'm getting the text. It was only for an hour. It wasn't that good, or it was better at your. I'm like, dude, it's got to be 2 hours minimum in the crock pot with the hot dogs. 2 hours and they get better. 2.5 is even better. 3 is 4. As long as you put it on warm, you're still good. But they can sit in there forever. But he's infatuated. He made it twice. He's already made it twice since I've been gone.
Crock pot hot dog recipe.
Yes, right.
Who knew?
It's an art, right?
It is. It's an art.
Man, everybody, the best sex ever. It felt just like a warm crock pot.
Yes, right.
Next week, we're going to show you how to make the best top ramen.
We've had the sheathed version. It just does not have the same sensation.
They need to be circumcised.
Unsheathed.
No, that was horrible.
Must be unsheathed hot dogs. Yeah.
No reservoir tip.
Reservoir tip. So a few years ago, Fun Spot in New Hampshire, was it Brofest 1? 4 or 5 years ago.
2.
So you didn't, or either you bought them or somebody else bought them.
Leo? My friend Leo.
Okay.
Every year I have this poker thing and I make these crockpot hot dogs, but they got to be skinless because the steam gets soaks through and they're delicious. But in like Western New York and obviously Massachusetts, some of the hot dogs have like a casing, like a sausage. and those are good, but they have to be on a grill or a griddle or something to cook the casing on the outside.
So you had like what, 20 or 30 of these hot dogs?
I think I had like 32, 4 or 5 packs. And Leo said, "I'll get the hot dogs." And he says, "Any kind of particular ones?" I go, "Well, I get Nathan's, but they could be ballpark." And I said, "It doesn't matter as long as they're skinless." So I ended up putting them in the he put them in the crock pot. So he went back to the room and I said, "Just throw them in, put one can of beer and just put it on high. And then they'll be ready when we get back to the room."
It made for great stories though. I mean, we were at Fun Spot pretty much all day playing games, tournament stuff, whatever. And then out at Nassau partying and then having our, reservoir tipped hot dogs.
Well, that's because it had tasty and delicious. So everyone's asking, "Are the hot dogs ready?" So I go back to the room and I look and I'm like, "Oh, they look like a bunch of raw dicks." I'm like,
dick soup.
So I literally went in the garbage can and I had to look at the packaging because Leo put them in and it says whatever brand they were in their natural casing. And I'm like, "Oh my God, they're fucking casing hot dogs. They're edible, but it's like you got to bite through the, the outside hasn't been charred or
you got to bite through the foreskin."
You did.
And then there's a video of Sean Williams. And it's got like,
Jason, I'm just hoping you have a couple takeaways from tonight's hangout. Corn long, avoid, and sheathed hot dogs.
Yeah, if you're gonna steam hot dogs, they have to be skinless. They can't have a casing.
You have smoked yourself retarded.
What the hell's that from?
Half baked.
Yeah, I was gonna say half baked, probably.
So
another thing that
are you guys working on?
What's that?
What kind of projects are you guys working on?
Good segue because Carrie can finally.
Carrie, go for it.
Well, I don't want to. I mean,
Carrie, you go for it, and then I'll share when you're done.
Carrie's up and going for a piss. See ya.
Nice.
Yeah.
The total John Jacobson move right there. Hey, what have you been working on? I'm gonna go pee.
Yeah, I gotta take a shit for a half hour. Hey, what are you guys talking about?
He'll come back. What?
Yeah.
What?
Well, so Jim, were you thinking the zookeeper thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
you've been working on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, actually, I have a ton of projects going on all at once, which is driving me crazy because I have parts everywhere and I hate it. But the probably the most exciting one right now is doing a project I got off of GAC, which was I got his, and he can't hear me right now because he doesn't have his ear.
Good, talk shit real quick.
I know, right?
You know what I hate about GAC?
I didn't have my headphones on. Sorry.
I know.
What did I miss?
I was taking advantage. So I started to talk about the zookeeper build I got from you. And you got it from somebody else, right? Like was it your project originally?
So the cabinet I bought, it was a repro cabinet from Atari Scott.
Okay.
So I bought the cabinet from Atari Scott. I bought the side art kit from Phoenix Arcade, I think. And then I had parts from a donor cabinet. It was like a totally waterlogged jungle hunt or something. I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so I got that project off of you, which you had started because you had already.
I started painting it. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you'd done a lot of code, and it came with free paint. Came with lots of cans of paint.
That's right. To cover up my fuck ups, basically. Yep, that's Chris Gack right there. I can see it. Dribble. Yep, that's him.
You should have signed your name at the bottom or
Yes.
something.
Yeah. Well, I haven't tipped it on its end for a while, so maybe that's on there. Although actually,
You drew a dick on the bottom.
Yeah. I still have one more side of art to put on. So I have the art on the one of the sides, the front, but I still need to put art on the other side. It's like the weather wasn't cooperating, and then I went on to other projects.
So did you go with the tuck method, or do you just
usually
raw style on the edge?
Honestly, I usually do the tuck, and I didn't do the tuck on. I did not do the tuck on this one, and I was telling Jim I kind of regret not doing that because, I mean, for the sides it's fine, but in fact maybe I did do the.
That's
tuck
one of
on
those
the side.
things. Like, okay, so I have very little experience with it. All I've known is I've seen videos. I've never actually applied full side art. So this old game, Rich, I've seen him. I've seen him do Food Fight and recommend the tuck method. So you stretch it over the edge and then you trim it at the T-mold, put the T-molding on. But then Atari Scott was like opposite that. He's like, no. He's like, he's like, you might wind up with wrinkles and, but the thing is, it shrinks. It does shrink. The side art will shrink over time. So it will start to recede from where the T-molding is. I think even if you look at original cabinets, it does that.
Oh yeah,
I could be wrong, but he believes just trim it right to the edge of the wood, and you're good. Edge of the wood, and you're good.
I think it depends who made the side art.
Yeah,
depending how it is, I will not fuck it. And you can kind of feel the vinyl. If the vinyl's real stretchy, I'll fuck it. But if it's like the rock, that's not getting tucked.
Yeah.
And it depends too on T-molding. Is it flat or does it kind of bow
have a
over
crown
the
shape?
sides? Yeah. So there's that too.
On this one, I made the mistake of not folding for where the control panel sets. So I trimmed it flush. I had a lot of trouble getting that front piece on. I have to say, I haven't done a lot of Phoenix Arcade art. I haven't done as much as I've done this old game art.
The kick plate art, the
kick plate, yeah, exactly. The kick plate art. I had that. I expected that to go on easy because it's small. I'm like, yeah.
That's one of the things I kind of contemplate. Do you do that like after you put the cabinet together, or do you do it separate? Before bolting, because I think it kind of bolts to the cabinet.
Some kick plates come off easier than others. Lately I've just been leaving it on, like whether it's laminate or vinyl. I haven't had much trouble, but but some of them, they're just either like glued or some are doweled, some are stapled, like some are nailed. Like there are some that you're just not going to get off, where others, no problems. I mean. But I just assume not fuck with it.
Yeah, and honestly, I did that so long ago, I don't even remember how much I took off. That cabinet has a tendency to fall apart when you try to take it apart.
Yes, it's very
and so
the Tato cabinets, the way they design them with brackets, kind of bolting everything together. Yeah,
it's like a card castle. You can just blow on it.
Yep.
So disgusted with the way that Taito put their stuff together.
So another thing, like the back door, it's like they should have put a cross beam across the middle of the cabinet, because like the if you don't have the back door open, the whole thing is like a freaking leaning trapezoid kind of thing. And that's old cabinets, new cabinets, doesn't matter. Just that's the way they are.
Yeah, no, it was their design was very poor. The way that, I mean, in my estimation, I'm a little frustrated with it because it's like, and there are things I feel like I still need to try to get the front bracket that holds. So there's a front bezel bracket that I reached out to
at the bottom of the bezel where the wood that's cut at weird angles.
Yeah,
I think I know the part you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to try to get that. I talked to Takeman, I think it was, where was it? Joseph, maybe it was Joseph on Clove.
Yeah.
Who reproed him, but then I don't think he didn't have any more. So, and I just kind of gave up on looking for it. It's like I need to go back and start calling through. Now that I'm getting close on the project.
I can give you that bracket if you want.
Really?
Yes. Oh, you're
right.
You heard it here, folks.
Harry will remember this. We have you on video agreeing to this, Jason. So you're hooked now.
Thank you. Yes, I will.
Here's a lawyer.
And a wiring schematic for the power supply for an iRobot.
iRobot, yeah, exactly.
That's what I heard earlier too, right, Carrie?
Yeah, exactly. The directions painstaking.
And my Nintendo Versus board. No.
Oh yes, and then
he's never coming back on. That's his
which
takeaway.
I offered to buy.
God,
Like that's. I'm just looking for someone to sell me one. That's all.
Yeah. So
why are potato cabinets so top heavy? I noticed every time you try to carry one up and down stairs, they always flip forward.
Well, I wonder if it's just monitor. Like the cabinet itself is really light. If you take the monitor out, the cabinet's really light.
Yeah.
I think like Nintendos are like that too, but maybe where the monitor's positioned on the Tato, maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
don't get me started on System 1 cabinets.
Yeah, they are put together very oddly, and I'm glad that I have my elevator action, so I can look at it and go, oh, okay, this is the way, because that's my only other Taito cabinet. I do like saying Taito.
What's the proper way to say it? I always get confused. Is that Taito? Taito, right?
Taito. There's a video of like a commercial of it somewhere where they say it.
So this weekend I got the monitor installed, everything wired up. Well, I don't have the coin door stuff. That's not that will come. That'll come later. But I got the game to working. Basically, except I'm having a really weird thing. I actually messaged, it was in our IRC. I was hoping to get a hold of J-Rock, who hangs out in there sometimes.
And we're trying to get him on one of these nights too. He's talking about, he's teasing. He's going to hang out with us one of these nights. Yes.
Yeah.
What a tease.
Yeah, exactly. Not now, not after I've been like, oh, what the heck. Although, so I'm stumped on this one. So it's the J-Rock ZooQ board, brand new wiring harness, working monitor. And so I will either get, and it's playing fine, but it will either have all colors but green, or it will only have green.
And it's a J-Rock board?
Yeah. And that, I would understand, like, okay, it's a wiring thing, the green, like, and I checked the wiring with my multimeter, everybody's happy, everybody, like, it seems like it's connection when I check the harness. But it's so weird to me that it's like it's usually I have everything but green, but once it was only green.
Now, have you tried another two? I mean, another monitor?
No, I have not. So I know that the monitor works. I can put the TVG in there. It's fine. I pulled it from a game where it was working. It was fine. And whoa.
What the hell is that?
Oh,
boom!
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I feel confident that the monitor
that
the monitor's good, because I have like it.
Do you have it? Are any other games have JAMA?
Well, unfortunately, the way that I wish I could do that, but the way that the ZooQ is, there's sync. So you do the sync directly from the ZooQ board, and you wire it. So you do a little 2-pin connector, and you run wires for vertical and horizontal directly to the positive sync on the in the harness that plugs into the monitor chassis, onto the 6-pin connector that goes onto the monitor chassis. So it isn't even a matter that, like, if I put it in some other cabinet, it just scrolls like crazy. I mean, I was going to try to do that and see if it scrolled in the right color, but but I can't, like, I don't, and maybe I could get it onto somehow put it in another cabinet, and while it's scrolling, figure out how to get it into the test bar so I can get all the colors and see if it shows up that way. So to see if it's the harness but it's the weirdest damn thing. It's really frustrating. It's a much harder game to play without green. I'll say that.
So your actual JAMA harness, I mean, I am certainly no expert here, but what did you get, like one of those cheapy Chinese JAMA harnesses?
I got it from High Score Saved.
Okay, so I would think that should be.
It seems good, and like I said,
because I've heard stories about some of the JAMA harnesses that you get the $10 ones and they're iffy, and a ground wires are screwed up or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, this one seems good. Like I said, it doesn't show a short or like there's no connection or anything. And the fact that it goes from it will either be all the colors but green or just green is the one that throws me off. I'd understand if it was all the like I just can't get green. Like okay, there's something going on with the harness. But I don't know that one.
The color transistors on the back of the monitor tube.
But she says her tube is her monitor is okay.
Oh, you know your monitors are.
Yeah, it's out. Yeah, if I put the TPG in there, yeah, it's solid.
Usually, yeah, there's 3 transistors in there. You have to make it work. Yeah, so
yeah, that was her other monitor.
Yeah, I know. I know. I have another monitor with no green, and that's because that poor 4900 neck just got all sorts of cracked up. But no, in this one, I do know. Like, if I put something else in it, it's fine. It's just when it's hooked up with that J-Rock board. Although I haven't tried it. Maybe what I should do, come to think of it, although the
throw
sync
another
will be off.
JAMA PCB in there.
Yeah, if I threw another JAMA PCB, I don't.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, it won't have the sync on it because I don't have the fucking sync connector. The sync.
Hey, have you tried reaching out to J-Rock? See what he might.
I tried in the chat right now.
Okay.
But I'll.
Is he in the chat?
Separately. He's listed under the user.
He's lurking.
Yeah,
if it's really him.
If he's probably
could be an imposter.
Not really paying attention.
No, he does. Well, I mean, I don't know about tonight, but he's definitely been on before.
Yeah, and I'll message him offline because it might be something with the harness. It is the weirdest damn thing, but because of that, the way that they do the sync, it makes it really hard to just test it in something else or throw another JAMA board in there because I'm guessing that it won't have any sync because I don't have the sync connectors hooked up, so I'd actually have to. Well, I guess read. I don't know.
Your head's gonna explode right here.
I know. I had to take all that stuff off in order to hook it to the positive sync.
I have very little experience, but the only sync issue I remember was my burger time. The monitor kept scrolling, and you could dial it in and get it right, and it'd be good for like a day, and then it'd start scrolling again. And I think it was my buddy Tron guy. He said, AKA Dylan. He said, tie in the syncs together. So you like put them on the same circuit, and then it's like they go together and then back out, split.
Composite, yeah.
That would be.
And then it was fine. It was like perfectly fine after that. What's that, Jason?
That would be if you have horizontal and vertical sync. But normally sync is negative sync, but in your situation it's positive sync, as in the original board. So in other words, if you were to tie horizontal and vertical together, you would create composite. But that's really not her.
Yeah. Interesting.
Honestly, I mean, what else could there be? Either the J-Rock board, which I doubt, but hey, it's possible. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. But it seems unlikely. Yeah.
Right. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It's that damn kick plate art that's just misaligned is causing all these sync issues.
Well, actually, so on that, why I should have tucked it is because I've been taking that control panel off and on so much that it's worn down the top of the art.
Oh, no.
So it's kind of.
Did you tuck your side art?
I didn't. Yeah,
yes.
I think I tucked the side art, but I didn't tuck the kick plate art.
Yeah,
that's where my problem is.
The most common automotive problems is like your left turn signal fluid. I heard you got to make sure the reservoir is filled all the way.
Yes. Oh my god.
The left turn signal fluid is.
I need to go do that
reservoir
right
level
now.
has to be a minimum 80%. Otherwise, everything gets all fucked up. Yeah.
I think a cap kit fixes that.
Yeah. And
that's why Gag has all these cars that just don't run anymore.
Exactly. There's like a cliff nearby here that I just drive them off the cliff and let them go.
Have you ever seen the video?
I report them stolen and I'm good.
Have you ever seen the video of the lady at the gas station with an electric car trying to figure out where to put the gas in?
Oh, jeez.
I won't mention the hair color, but
was it mine?
Tell me. No, a little more on the yellow.
Oh, or blue.
It's like She cannot be this. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What about that one video where the guy rode his horse to the gas station? Couldn't figure out where to put the gas pump.
Oh. Yeah, he'd get a serious kickback trying to load that gas. Talk about boot to the head, right, Jimbo?
John Wick 3 style.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Wasn't that a great scene in John Wick 3?
Sweet.
He sets the guy up and then taps the horse.
Yeah. I saw that. Yes, that was awesome.
I'm pretty sure that was a Family Guy skit.
Oh,
probably.
great.
Yeah. That my favorite. I think it was it Family Guy? I think it was Family Guy. The train that goes into the mountain and the tunnel.
We talked about that before, and then
yeah, we showed the video.
Yeah.
Yes, like the train just like hammering the tunnel.
Yeah.
And eventually it gets in, and then like you see a little bit of blood dribble off the side of the tunnel.
I'm surprised they aired that. You know.
So Carrie, I don't know. You probably didn't get any resolution there.
Right, you didn't really expect resolution. I gotta go. I'll fuck with it, and I don't. Yeah.
You know what's funny? Earlier tonight, Carrie, in the other chat, some fucknut goes, because you haven't talked yet. You're sitting there, and they're like, "What's this Carrie chick doing here? She has no games behind her. She doesn't have any games. Kick her ass off."
So that was one of our fans.
That's funny. Yeah, clearly a regular.
They have no clue that in your garage you've got.
Haven't heard our disclaimer.
Yeah. I got an iRobot, a Gravatar.
Yeah, reactor. Yeah.
Reactor.
Bring your script. Script. We'll try to record it.
Yeah.
What?
What is going on there?
Background. That way I get.
Okay, you got to talk and then scroll the camera while you're talking, because otherwise we can't see it.
Are any of you looking for a reactor game?
Wait, somebody has a reactor game?
No. Are any of you looking for one?
Well, for the $298 carry special, absolutely.
Hey, Ardelli's looking for a reactor game, big time.
Did you guys hear about that Florida auction? The guy
Jen May or whatever her name is. She keeps posting a bunch of stuff.
Man, whatever. There's no charges for the auction at all. That's unheard of. He's doing a free barbecue, and one of his 100+ games being sold is a reactor.
Okay, so what I heard on that was they only have, I think, 200 bidding positions open, and you have to be present or have someone representing you present.
That's fair. I mean, it's online bullshit.
And because I saw Jen May, if you guys know her on Facebook, she keeps posting pictures of it.
Oh.
And man, some amazing games there.
Yeah,
and she kind of posted to a couple people like, hey, if you really want to buy a couple, let me know, and I can, set you up and I'll bid for you or whatever. I think I read something like that, but.
Yep.
I don't know. Shipping games, other than Dave from Buffalo, I've never shipped a game in my life, and I'm just like,
Well, Jet doesn't ship; she drives it to you. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Arcade Jason, are you familiar with Buffett?
No.
Throw an ass.
All right, Jason, you need to get caught up on your what's happening everywhere in the arcade scene. Because Buffett is legendary. Legend. Wait for it. Dairy. Yes. So Buffett is like the OG monitor repair guy. And I don't know if he can hear me right now, but okay. So he lists his name as Buffett. But it's actually buffet is what he meant to say.
Yes.
But he's just stuck with it.
I'm skinny.
Well, because John's Arcade would, John Jacobson would always call him Buffett. So we all just start calling him Buffett.
But that's how it's spelled. That's how he spelled his name. He put one too many T's, I think.
Oh.
Uh-oh. You're busted.
What?
Why can't you grow an ass?
Buffett. Yeah.
I am on.
Buffett.
We can't hear you, though.
I can't hear you.
Oh,
Buffett.
No, he's got voice. It's just there's 8 people talking over him.
Yeah.
Let the man speak.
Yes.
Buffett, where are you? Why are you talking? Why are you talking, Buffett? Where are you? He's not talking. I can't hear him. Can you hear him? I can't hear him.
And it looks fantastic.
Hello.
Yeah.
Buffett, you've been repairing arcade monitors since what year?
Since he was in the 8th grade. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been about 10 years or so now.
10 years. Okay.
Yeah. So
nice.
It's been a little while.
You might have seen him in the movie Man versus Snake.
Yes. If you've seen the movie,
have you seen that movie, Jason?
No, I have not.
Oh my God!
It's on Netflix.
That movie's legendary.
And YouTube.
Everything's
so he won't show his face on here with us, but he will for the Man versus
documentary.
Snake. Yes.
Yeah, that was.
I'm younger then.
That's sort of like that's a movie sort of like King of Kong, but with the game Slither, right? No, not Slither.
Yes.
Nibbler.
Nibbler. That's it. Nibbler. That's it.
What the fuck is Nibbler?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Buffett, I have a project for you if you're willing. I have my 4900 neck board. It does not have green, unrelated to the other green problem I'm having. I'm just having a green problem in this house. It used to be my favorite color, but it might not be anymore. So I want to officially give up and send it to you and have you repair it.
That's cool. Just the whole chassis, and then now that way I can make sure everything works.
I didn't hear what you said. There were too many people talking.
Just go ahead and send the whole chassis, and that way I
the
can
whole
make
thing?
everything works. Yeah.
Okay. Because
I have been able to find one to repair it to put it on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I have been able to determine it is the neck board because I put the neck board on a different monitor, and it's like, oh no, it is the neck board, and the chassis I think is fine. But I will pull the whole darn thing and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That way I can verify, everything where it's supposed to be and stuff like that. So just makes it easier.
Okay, you got it.
I thought California didn't have a green problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. All centered at my house.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but I've been trying to fit that in for the past minute.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
And he's Buffett's gonna look at it, and you're gonna take a look, and you're gonna be like, just know that all the cracks in the neck board, that wasn't me. It came that way.
Okay.
Which is why I'm sure that I would guess that that's where we can link the problem to, because the transistor is fine. But yeah, it looks like somebody sat on it. Poor thing.
I've done that before. No worries.
Cool.
All kinds.
I sit on them all the time myself.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on one now. How are you doing down there?
So
my backfill, Jim.
I got another question for Jason. Do you own any pinball machines?
The last pinball I owned was a Baby Pac-Man, and I never really was a pinball. Although I do have the very first video pinball.
Oh,
nice.
That's cool.
It's actually in a pinball cabinet. The very first pinball was in a pinball style cabinet.
So you're saying you have like a prototype of video pinball?
No, video pinball wasn't the first. Around I think it was 1975 or 76 was Super Flipper, and it's really cool because
Super Flipper.
Yeah, the displays are actually Nixie tubes. I don't know if you're familiar with Nixie tubes.
Oh, Nixie tubes are great.
Is that the one that has letters inside a tube?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Those are so cool. Very old school.
As far as I know, still made in Germany.
It actually has a chime inside it, and there is like maybe 10 boards inside this thing, and a crazy ass wiring harness. It's crazy.
A fucking 10.
Video pinball.
Crazy.
I have to see that. See that.
What's it called again?
You should show it on your channel.
Super Flipper.
Yeah.
Super Flipper.
Flipper Sipper.
Yes.
Super Flipper.
Flipper. Okay.
Super Flipper.
Super Fucker.
Nowhere near Longboard.
I don't see the Nixie tubes on.
Oh, just it's
And the
Chicago
pictures
coin.
on the club. I don't see the Nixies.
Pixies?
Nixie tube.
Pixie dust?
Well, if you want to get really technical, they're technically not called Nixie tubes, but if I say Nixie tube, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Technically called.
But it's just like Nixie tubes. But
RCA Numatron?
yes, thank you.
This is what makes time travel possible.
Nerds.
Yeah, everybody knows my Nixies.
That's a band, right?
Yeah.
The Nixies?
Wow.
The Nixies.
That's really
so
cool
is there a
looking
video
game.
of that? There is a video of that pinball machine somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm looking for
that
it.
Is
yeah, no, I found it. That is a.
Right.
I've never heard of. What a cool
They
game.
did this in 1975, and they're doing this now with virtual pinball machines.
Yeah, right. They need to get with the time. That's real. That's badass
I
looking.
did not know about this one for some reason. It's so weird.
Yeah, matter of fact, there was a clone made in it's a Spanish clone called UFO, and they cloned it all the way to the T and just called it UFO. But it's exactly the same thing. But this one was the first one. I would kill
like $1,000.
What's that?
How much do they run? They sell for about like 1,000 or something.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know if there's much of a market for anything. You know, I mean, most
Depends
people
on the buyer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buyer, you know.
You saw it, you had to have it.
Oh yeah, when I got it, it was getting that cabinet is like 60% Mondo. It's pretty bad. Although it looks difficult now, but it looked like it was like dumped in a lake and someone came back 2 months later to pick it up. You know.
Oh man.
UFO.
All right, I want to share. I've been meaning to share this for like a couple weeks.
Do it.
Whip it out.
Yeah.
I'm drunk. I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it. I'm sure most of you
Is
here.
that the actual size, or is that
Most of you here
enlarge to show texture?
They know what this is, but the people that might not know what this is, it's CNC punched sheet metal, electro galvanized steel plate, and then powder coated. This is a Bally Sente chicken shift control panel.
Oh.
So I have actually designed and programmed and had these made. I have 14 of these in my possession right now. And I'm working with another friend of the show to actually have reproduction artwork. So, not silk screened, but like offset print or whatever they call it, directly onto the metal. Directly onto the metal, like how the originals were. So this is chicken shift. And I got a couple more I'm gonna show you here.
The major announcement.
I have Gex chicken shift prototype.
You have one of my prototypes. I had 2 prototypes of that.
As you
this
can
one
see,
here,
it looks fantastic.
this one here, I don't know, Jason.
That's mini golf.
Mini golf, you got it, Dave.
I played it at Pro Club.
This is mini golf. I have 4 of these, and then my last one. I honestly, all I could do was eyeball what I could find online. So I don't know if this is technically accurate, but I will update as needed. I only made 2 of these.
Rare.
This panel is.
What is that?
This is Snake Pit.
Snake Pit.
So Snake Pit is a really fun game. If you guys have not played it, you're missing out. It is. So it's kind of Indiana Jones-ish.
Mm-hmm. With a whip.
Yes. So it's kind of like the controls are very similar to Wacko. So you have a trackball and a joystick, but then there's also a buttons. I don't know what the button does. So,
button, who's got the button?
Nice.
But this is meant to fit the, I think they call it the SAC-1 system or something like that. So the control panel has like a cutout in it for these panels to fit in. and then you swap them out, and you swap out the marquee, and you swap out the daughter card, kind of like an Atari System 1. It's basically like the next generation after Atari System 1, the Atari people went to Sente. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody who might know that, but
sounds legit.
Yeah. So I've been wanting to do this for like a year. I mean, I made the prototype Chicken Shift a year ago, and so now I finally actually made these. I just took the dive, spent the money, got it all powder coated.
Today, Gak, do you have a Belly Sente?
I do have one of the cabinet, the ones that has like the green and gold side art. I'm looking at it right now. I actually had it at CAX last year with mini golf in it.
Okay.
And I have like a bunch of daughter cards. I have Hat Trick, Snake Pit, Chicken Shift, mini golf. I think there might be one or two others.
Hamburger? No, I want a hot dog. I want a milkshake. I want potato
You'll
chip.
get nothing
like
Hey,
Yeah,
Gak,
you'll like
I put an IRC your board with the control panel. I got the control panel overlay on
Cool.
it.
So there was somebody who like messaged me a couple times. He's like, "When are you gonna get those chicken shifts?" Because the guy was like super excited about it.
That was probably
No, it was somebody else. And I said, I'm working on it. They're just, I don't want to do this whole, like, prepay me and I'll have it ready in a few months. I'm just doing it on my own, and when they're ready, they're ready. So, but yeah, I've got 20 panels total that are built and powder coated.
Do a lot of people have that game?
I do. It's in chat. Look
What's that, Jason?
What if I were to have a common board like Stalker or something like that, street football or whatever? How can I convert that?
So my understanding, okay, my local buddy Chris, aka Tubular Gearhead, hats off to you locals here, regulars here
like
that know that.
Their real name is like their handle.
Yes. So he's a good friend of mine. I've known him for 5-6 years now. He actually said that I think there's basically two versions of the daughter cards, and it has to do with like the socketed ROM chips or something like that. There's two versions. I think one is like 8 or 10 or 12 chips, and the other one is like 14 or 16 or 18, something like that. And so whatever each of those groups are, they can do. You can reprogram and do any of those.
Correct.
Within that group. So there's basically two versions, is my understanding.
Yeah. And for Chicken Shift, you need like Hat Trick or Chicken Shift only.
Really? That's the only two games that version will do?
They have the most ROM spaces.
Okay. So then basically the other one will do all the other games, I believe.
I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
But Chicken Shift, I mean, that one is a blast. That's a really fun game. We actually had that at the prototype. Yes. It's one of those that's like easy to understand the gameplay and that like ramps up super quick. So like for a collector that loves to play, it's not about money generation. It's just having fun and figuring out. Chicken's just a great game.
Wasn't there somebody at the tournament that like rocked that game and they could just play it like forever?
I would bet. Yes.
I seem to remember that being a problem, and then nobody could
the
get
ringer.
on it.
There was somebody who was a total ringer on Razzmatazz back when Kumo Craig owned it, which recently, and I gotta say, like, I don't know if you guys saw that thread. A friend of our show, good friend of ours, Slick Nick, he bought that. I don't know if it's a prototype or there was only a couple made, but Razzmatazz was essentially the sequel to
Carnival.
I don't know how many were actually made, but he bought, and I'm sure he paid a pretty penny. He bought it from Kumo Craig, and then he recently had it for sale for like $5,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he actually got that, or I guarantee he got close to it if he didn't actually get that.
Did he see? He did sell it.
It's sold. Yes.
Wow.
You traded for 720
Slick
and a
Nick,
Paperboy?
give it up. Let us know.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. So Slick Nick.
Slick Nick.
I got his personal text. I'll ask him.
All right, do it.
Yeah.
So maybe Jason will be working on rebuilding a monitor for that here in the coming months in Tennessee, if that's who bought it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. But yeah, there was something you could exploit on the game. I think it was like if you did the player 2, it's like the spinner was faster, or there was something about that. There was some exploit. There was a way you could exploit that game, and no one knew about it because it was a prototype, effectively. But like one person like figured it out and just killed it on the game. Yeah.
I find chicken shit.
What's that, Jason?
I am amazed at that collection in Tennessee. I mean, there is rooms filled with
Did you get that razzmatazz?
So,
Carrie, finish your thought real quick.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I was just gonna comment on chicken shifts. For whatever reason, that game stresses me the fuck out. Like when I play, I just got like,
but that's part of the fun is that panic. Like that's the way Robotron is for me too. And like Zookeeper, those games are like, the first few levels, like, okay, this is fun. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, fuck, it is. That's the way it is. That's what makes it fun.
But I don't know. Like, I do not find those other games. It's just the level of stress. I don't know why. It's like maybe it's the to-do list of trying to get everything done. But I just I enjoyed it, but I kind of hated it too because it was just so.
Stop it, please! For God's sake, please stop it.
Am I boring you, Dave? Or are you actually?
No, I'm sorry.
So, Jason.
I love you too, Dave. Mwah,
so,
big kiss.
I was just thinking, what if I passed out right now? I'm really
I know. Next time you go to talk, I'm gonna need to take a piss.
I know. Did you love that? Carrie, I love you. I did it on purpose.
Carrie, you got to post in the chat. Be right back. Taking a piss.
Yeah.
That's exact words.
Drink break. Yeah. We all do that.
Dave's talking. Yeah.
Be right back. Piss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
taking a dump.
I need to know more. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm drunk.
Holding back
my
the
birthday.
boners.
Damn it. So, Jason, back to Tennessee guy.
Yeah.
So, okay. So the story I know.
Who's Tennessee guy? AKA.
Yeah.
Your buddy Ted.
DS. I'm just gonna say DS.
Dumb shit.
So, yeah. No. So the story I heard was that he bought it's around a 25,000 square foot airplane hangar. You can just say nod yes or no if you want. It's somewhere.
Airplane. I guess you could call it the compound.
Okay.
It used to be a place where they would build boats, big fiberglass boats. So it's kind of like an airplane hangar, but it's actually he runs a business. And that business, I don't want to tell him too much because he doesn't want people to know too much.
Totally get it.
But
he's a drug dealer. I knew it.
Yeah. And it's just there. Several buildings filled with I'm so damn jealous. Like, it's just several rooms filled with prototypes.
So the kind of the backstory that I remember, we're going back probably 4 or 5 years ago now. The original plan or his vision that I understood was, let me finish telling the story and then you can change it. Was that he basically bought a 25,000 square foot space, and that was going to be like this mega arcade, but he also wanted it to have kind of like, I think there was going to be an outdoor drive-up theater kind of setup, like a giant screen. And like he's got, I think 5 kids, and he wanted to have a fun place for his family to hang out, and he had this nostalgia for the old games, and so he basically wanted like every single game ever made, effectively. And at California Extreme about 5 years ago, I know a few guys like that had uber rare games, and it was like name your price. That was the deal, and it was like, and he'd say yes or no, or they'd haggle a little bit. And I know of multiple games that just went for just stupid money. And now it's more maybe normal, but back then it was ridiculous.
Yeah. His goal is to get everything.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
He in some areas he does have everything.
Yes.
Every single Century, every single title, every single refinery, just about.
Wow.
Amazing. You know what I mean?
So I know.
And money was no object or something, right?
Pretty much.
Well, I
yeah.
mean, he has wisened up now.
Yes.
He's nobody's fool anymore.
No. Right.
Anymore.
Was this the premise for Breaking Bad?
And I'd heard, he learned to buy like large collections, or a collector just wants to get out and they just like want an easy transaction. There'll be a few prize pieces in their collection, but they just want to sell it all.
Yeah.
So he'll just buy it all, and that's why he winds up with like a bunch of multiples of, he's got like 6 Pac-Mans or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
How many orange whips?
Yeah. But man, I would love to see that. So I know you said in one video, like, I think you said something like you wanted to do some video of his game room, but he's like not ready to share it, something like that.
Yeah, I know. I would. He actually has artists that come in and they're drawing stuff on the wall and whatever.
Yeah.
And one cool thing is, if you look at my picture, that's my icon for Arcade Jason on the YouTube channel, or that's on the Facebook, that Wreck-It Ralph guy holding the soldering iron. An artist came in, and the reason I got that drawing at all is because an artist came in and made like a 20-foot tall Arcade Jason, like it's hanging on the wall in this crazy arcade.
Wow!
Actually, a picture I took of this giant, like 20-foot tall Arcade Jason.
That's cool, man.
Wow.
And he seemed like, I kind of barely said hello to him, but he seemed like a really down to earth guy.
Very good guy.
Yeah.
Very good
but
guy.
it's like what we all dream we could do if we had unlimited funds, right?
How old is he? How old is this gentleman?
He's our age, in the mid 40s, I'd say, mid to late 40s.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, speaking of, there's another guy who is not on the cloth. Brian just reminded me. He has about how many you think? 3,000?
Probably around 3,000.
About 3,000 games, and he's completely under the radar, and almost no one knows.
Just the sheer cost to store
but
those.
He only has one cabinet, right, Mock?
He was on Ricky Knuckles and Todd Tucky's video. He mentions it. Who he is and how many games he has.
Who are you and how many games do you have?
Yeah, a friend of mine, he is in pretty much like me, Brian, and this guy are pretty much the only people that really know he exists. But he bought a giant window factory, and did we lock up? Anyways,
no, we're here.
He bought a giant window factory.
Okay,
and inside there he has go-kart tracks. He has a whole facade of like a big town, like a city, and he has anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 machines, and unsocial in the hobby. You know what I mean?
I mean, the serious problem there though is like the maintenance. If you let's just assume you want 500 of them working at all time. I mean, you need like 2 full-time techs there, right? To maintain 500 games even.
I'd say one really good guy for every 1,000. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
But still, I mean,
5 to 10 machines down a day, 8 hours, like that. You know what I mean?
Back full of projects, and when one goes down, you get somebody going back there and put it on the floor. You just keep doing that.
Yes. Yeah, I've talked to Steve a couple times at Grinkers, and he talks about to maintain those games that are on 10 12 plus hours a day, 7 days a week. It's constant, ongoing rebuilding, fixing this problem, that problem. Yeah.
Well, I'd imagine as long as you go over the game before it goes on the floor, which I'm sure happens.
Yeah.
If anything's going to fail, it's usually going to fail in the first week, I'd imagine. You know what I mean? And in general, that's my assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy though.
they've got a bunch of techs there now too, right?
At where?
At Grinkers. It's not just Hat Trick, right?
I think Hat Trick and his dad and maybe one other guy, but I don't think they're full time. I don't think any of them are full time. I think it's mostly weekends.
Patrick only goes there like once, maybe twice a week. If that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that Steve said he goes in on like the weekends because he's busy during the week.
No, okay.
But the weekends he'll go in and they kind of double up and do stuff. But yeah.
I gotta head out, guys. It was fun.
All right,
Dave.
Yeah.
Great meeting you.
Dave.
Thanks for coming on.
Later, Dave.
See you guys. Take it easy.
Night, Dave.
So, yeah, it's just crazy when I can't imagine once you get past having 30, 40. I mean, I can't control 30 games. You get 300, 1,000. It's just crazy.
If only I would have kept every game that I had, I'd probably be over 1,000. But the only reason I have what I have is because I flipped them and
I'm in the same exact boat. I have about 35-ish games, and I've probably had close to 100 more than that. And because I've flipped them, I've paid for my whole collection because of the flips.
Sure, it'd be cool to own like 1,000 games, but you'll never get everything you want.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you wouldn't have time to play them anyway.
Exactly. Another
like
good
I
point.
look at my collection and I'm like, I don't have as much time to play them as I'd like.
It's like my name cabinet.
Yeah.
Waiting for that one.
Games.
All you ever play is Loverboy anyway.
Right.
But there is something to be said about not even playing them. You just I'm very slow in my progress of what I'm doing. The lighting and the just the whole ambiance of it. You just kind of I walk out here and just kind of go like, I love this place. I'm not even playing a game. I'm just like, I just enjoy it all. The whole scene.
There is something about that.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Just
now if it's like far beyond the eye can see in 1,000 games, I'm like, oh shit, I'd start stressing out.
Well, that's what I'm looking forward to at my place. Is I've got plans for my pin, and then two more games that I've already determined which ones that I want, and then I'm maxed out because I'm in an apartment. And I'm actually really excited about being maxed out because then I can just focus on the fun little things like signage and the ambiance and all that crap.
I'm kind of doing the reverse of that, Jimbo. It's like I kind of want to get the ambiance first, and then I can feel like, all right, I'm like fucking 13 years into this. I'll finally do my first cap kit. That's where I'm at. I'm like the reverse of you. Yeah. Really. It's like which way do you want to approach your goals?
I was walking through. Well, I was recording. I guess that's a little bit of a segue, but I was recording some video because I finished my recording project, and so I started last night and then today recording video for that because I want to get video of all my components and devices for recording, direct streams from all my games. Before I pack them into that little case, because once I do that, I'm not going to want to take anything out of there. And so I needed, I was shooting inside one of the coin doors of like Miss Pac-Man to show like how you connect all my stuff up to get the direct feed out. And I was looking at the monitor and I happened to just be in that mindset where I'm like, I could do better converging that corner of that monitor. And I'm like, no, I had to stop myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was 9:00. So it was an hour before we went live. And I still had to eat yet. And I'm like, I could probably hammer this out in like 10 minutes because I know exactly what I need to do. I've got some extra conversion strips. And I had to stop myself. I'm like, no, I put it on my list.
Your spidey sense needs to kick in and be like, no, you think you can do it in 10 minutes, but in reality it's going to take an hour and a half, right?
With my OCD probably, But it's one little spot. It's kind of like actually the quickest I've ever finished conversion of monitor was probably on Carrie's Karate Champ. I hammered that sucker. Oh, and there was more to it than I was expecting, but I had to fix 3 of the 4 corners and I
That's
also
the power
redid
of a female for you, Jimbo. You know, as soon as you finish the convergence, you know,
convergence.
and you're like, done.
Converge. No,
Yes.
no, but no, she was Carrie wasn't there. She was picking up her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend from the airport. And I'm like, oh, this will be perfect. I'll work on this while you're gone because I want to get this done. And I had to redo the stack convergence, the rings, and then there were the 3 corners I fixed, and I had that all done like within half an hour. I couldn't believe it. Like doing like normally I can get things to where they're like 90% perfect, but then I don't know when to stop. I'm like, I can do it better, and then hours go by. But that one was pretty good. That one worked out pretty well. Yeah.
Sweet.
But yeah, I'm done. My red tent, I got that all wired up for the recording, the streaming, and so all my cabinets are all done. All that's left now is I finished the video stuff, for my video that I needed to get done before I can start packing everything up. So that's next on the list, is getting everything nice and organized in that hard case so I can portably go from cabinet to cabinet and do
which yeah, it's Twitch, right? You're planning on doing it?
I think that's where I'm gonna, and then I can just, because I'm like, there's so many. It's like, do you do YouTube? Do you do Twitch? And Facebook. Twitch is a tough one. Yeah, Facebook. And I know I'm not going to get that many people just because it's such a niche thing.
But it seems like the interface with their working with everything, Twitch seems to be the easiest.
I think so.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like Twitch is the most saturated place there is, but I think that just for that reason, it'll probably be one of the best and easiest to start with. And then I can just post the Twitch thing on Facebook if I want. And I think you can automatically upload those to my YouTube channel like afterwards. So
well, I don't know. I'm looking forward personally to more Cheyenne and some Marble Madness. Those are my 2 favorite in your collection that I'd like to see. It'd just be fun to feel like I'm sitting there playing it, but I'm not actually playing it. I'm this good, but not really.
Jim makes Cheyenne look so easy. Like, oh, that game, that's it.
Oh, he does. I know.
Oh my God, that game is.
I've never seen anybody that good at that game.
Yes. Yeah, very well done.
I fucking love that game. Yeah, that'll be a fun one because I bought, so you know, a lot of us use those Logitech. We don't get paid by Logitech, but we all have the C920. Yes. Anyways,
exactly.
I was gonna use, so I have 2 cameras, so I'll have obviously the direct feed from the cabinet as giant, as the most of the screen, and then I'll have my other nice camera as close on me so I can communicate and stuff, and you can see me on the cabinet. And then I was going to use this webcam as either a little wide angle or on a control panel, depending on what game I'm playing. But after I have this all kind of locked down with my workstation, and so I was like, I don't want to fucking unplug this webcam every time I go do that. So I actually bought another one, so that I can mount that on a tripod and don't have to fuck with it. So there'll be the 2 cameras and then the direct feed. But once I have everything all packed up, I'm gonna finish my video of like how everything works. And then I'm hoping to start doing regular live streams. I don't know, like every other weekend or something. I don't know. I'm new to this whole streaming thing, so I don't know.
Right.
I have to figure that out. Figure out what's going to work.
Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think if anything, what I'm looking forward to is it'll give me an excuse to play each one of my games regularly. Yes. Yeah.
I got a response from Nick. He said
the Razzmatazz update.
I asked him, "Did you get that Razzmatazz?" He said, "I sold it."
What?
Well, yes, he sold it.
Had it for.
He's the one who had it for sale for $5,000.
Yeah. So yes,
you missed that part, Mock.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah. So he did sell it.
You can buy
but did he get $5,000 for it? It was the question.
Okay.
Did you guys not see you could buy the whole Razzmatazz game for $3,000?
We're wondering if you got 5K for it. Do you want to tell us?
Yeah. And we'll tell the world, all 7 of them that.
So
it
Jason
came up on the show.
Jason Slick Nick is kind of like I'll call him arcade royalty amongst our group. You know, they're like the power group. Him and his wife that like go to all the events, and he's got an amazing collection.
He's got an amazing amount of money.
Yes, I was gonna say it feels like money's no object for him. He's got like every super sport classic car you could imagine. I mean, he has the kit car from Knight Rider.
The Axle one?
No, I think his is a repro, or I don't know what you call it.
It's a reproduction.
He's got Flynn's light cycle.
He got the cabinet from Atari Scott, the art of this old game.
Yeah. It's got the Fizzgig side art on it. And,
the Takeman dashboard.
There we go. Perfect.
RAM control steering wheel.
Ooh.
You got $5,500.
Wow.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
So he got over asking price.
Wow. It's like real estate.
He must have had several offers for that.
Yeah.
You can buy the whole game for $3,000.
Where?
I just posted it in chat, IRC. You could buy it right now for $3,000. The whole board.
But is this the machine?
No, the whole game. Look at it.
Okay, but okay.
$3,000. Razzmatazz.
Yeah, all right. I see your link, but you know that's VAS, and that might not be updated. That might have sold like 5 years ago.
Oh, where does it say updates at? Good point.
Who knows?
I told them congrats.
Yeah, that's great.
No, you did.
I just added it to my cart. To my cart.
This is right here.
Who wants an orange whip? Orange whip?
He said, "Thanks. I wish the game had
3 orange whips.
replay value.
Who bought it?
Or I would have kept it."
Once he mastered it, it was boring. In other
Who
words,
bought it?
yeah.
After or Macklemore?
No,
I don't want to ask him that.
Yeah, that's.
I put him on the spot.
It was DJ Flask. He's shipping it.
I'm gonna text Bonnie.
Well,
so that's another. All right. So my wife pretty much hates my hobby. So
get rid of the wife.
And Mock, you're not too much off.
Oh, I'm in the same boat, buddy. That's why I'm laughing.
So, yes. But so Jason, I've seen you have videos, and I know your wife actually does monitor rebuilds and stuff, right?
Well, yeah. Believe it or not, she's probably capped more monitors than I have because I usually send her.
Okay.
That's crazy.
I'm not saying wife, yet. I guess wink, wink. I don't know. Carrie is the power couple. Carrie and Jim. They're one of the few rare gems that both parties enjoy games.
I got my head on my shoulders, and I was like, I need a date into this hobby.
Yeah.
Yes. So Orange Whip and his wife. So Orange Whip, the kind of I'll call him the original creator of the Hangout. His wife is like at least as, if not more, into games than him.
Well, she was in before,
but it's a rarity. That's my point. Is like,
my wife, she'll get her hands dirty too. I mean, she'll carry games and whatever. Believe it or not, I can
believe it or not.
She's probably got a good 1,000 monitors by now.
Yeah, so she's better than you, basically. There's something to be said about that. My wife, I'm guaranteed she'd be better at rebuilding monitors than me.
Buffett, you got competition. Look out!
I've got the beer drinking hand and the jack off hand, and neither one can repair monitors. So I'm screwed.
Happy birthday, Gak.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, buddy. Well, shit. Actually, I need to rock pretty soon. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually,
I think you're about right.
Well, the whips.
So, yeah.
Buffett
knows this already.
Buffett
knows this already, but Jason, I'll just bring you up to pace. We are the longest running live arcade podcast on YouTube, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
There's not really much to be said about that, but we like to say that,
You like to pimp it.
I didn't know you guys existed until yesterday.
See, you are
that makes us feel warm and
a
fuzzy.
perfect example of reinforcing our beliefs. We'll say,
and nobody watches, but we have fun.
Yeah, but we enjoy it. So.
But
exactly.
but Jason, I would love to have you back, and I think you'll whenever you want to come back, feel free, because we love chatting bullshit arcade games. Same with you, Brian. If you have a webcam or you want to hang out at Jason's house, either way, we bullshit, we talk games, we drink beer or whatever, vodka, or soda, whatever,
cranberries,
or we get boners to someone taking a dump like Mock, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of wrong, but I don't know. Okay, you've grown past that. All right, so
well, hang around just for a second. We usually have a little banter after we go offline. But
yes, so please don't disappear after we go off live. But yeah, I love all you guys. I couldn't imagine a better way to spend my birthday with my friends here with you guys. So good
technology.
Time.
Cheers, buddy.
Hell of a drug.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers. My beer's empty, but
happy birthday.
That's a good time. So,
all right, and on that,
buddy.
And I need you now tonight. I fucking need you more than ever.